The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Yesterday was another Jet disaster, and Joe Benigno was in the building to watch it. We get Joe's thoughts on the game and where the Jets go from here at 0-7. It's the Jake Asman Show, and it starts right now.
What did you think of the offensive play call in the last two games?
That's a good question.
How much worse can it get for Aaron Glenn's Jets team? Can he salvage this season and give us something to be excited about? Every step of the journey, the Jake Asman Show will have you covered, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now. Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Please click the like button and make sure, if you haven't already, you subscribe to the channel. Again, thank you to everyone who came out to our tailgate event yesterday. Everyone in the photo here, thank you. And there were a bunch of you who showed up and weren't even in this picture, so to everyone who showed up and still came out to support the community and commiserate all together before that game, thank you, including our guest in his weekly spot. He stopped by the tailgate, our guy, Joe Benigno, the host of the Oh the Pain pod. Joe, great to see you before this debacle yesterday, and it sounds like you might be coming to the watch party to watch another Jet game together at Goldies Tavern this Sunday for Jets Bengals.
Yeah, it looks pretty promising. Maybe Tommy Keenan and I are going to come out and watch another Jet disaster. Watch Joe Flacco tear us up on Sunday.
It never ends. We'll have fun regardless, people. RSVP, if you want to join us, it's free. We'll add you to the raffle. We got a bunch of signed Jets items we'll raffle away at halftime. Joe, where do you want to start with this game? Because it felt like a game we've seen so many times. Go ahead.
You know what, Jake? I don't even want to start with the game. I want to start where this season really went to crap. And that's the decision to let Aaron Rodgers walk out the building. I mean, let's be honest about it. Here you have an inept owner, okay? Inept owner, a head coach who has never coached in the league before, okay? And they are making the decision that they don't want to bring back a first ballot, all-time great quarterback to this football team who wanted to be here. Okay? Let's start with that because that's really where this season went to crap. All right? Who the hell are Woody Johnson? Let's be real about it. And the media was all over this too. You know, the media, because they couldn't wait to get Rodgers out the door. Who the hell are Woody Johnson and Aaron Glenn to tell Aaron Rodgers to get the hell out of the building? Who are they?
Well said. Well said. And you know what a big issue was too, Joe? When we were talking about it, and we might have lost Joe here with the connection issues. Hopefully we get him back shortly. One of the big issues from the beginning with the Aaron Rodgers decision is, to me, how it was handled from the beginning, right? It's one thing if you want to move on, but the way it was handled was absolutely ridiculous. I think we got Joe back with us.
It's about having a quality football team put on the field. And you can't tell me that Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams, oh, by the way, caught 3 touchdown passes yesterday as the Rams assaulted the Jaguars in London. I mean, you can't tell me we're not a better team, bro. I understand Rodgers doesn't play defense, and defense has played better. It would be nice they forced a turnover somewhere along the line. But, you know, we're not 0-7, bro. We're not 0-7 in a laughing stock in this league. And the other thing about it, you're still going to draft that young quarterback coming up in this draft. Maybe the draft position won't be as good as it's going to be now, but there's so many quarterbacks out there. You're still going to find a guy in the first round, and it's all about finding the right guy. And this is why this franchise is the worst franchise in professional sports. This is why this franchise has gone 57 years without sniffing a Super Bowl appearance. This is why this franchise has gone 15 now going on 16 years without a playoff appearance. Why they've gone 10 years without a freaking even a winning season. Why we've had one head coach after another from Parcells, just starting with the Woody era, from Parcells to Herman to Mangini to Rex to Bowles to Gaze to Sauer to Glenn. It's a freaking disaster. And it's all on the owner. And that this owner hired this head coach who is clueless, has no idea what the hell he's doing. Okay, no idea. This team, you're not going to fire him now. But by the end of the year, you got to get Glenn the hell out of here. And I don't want, I'm going to tell you this right now, but the more I think about it, I do not want Aaron Glenn and Darren Muhi, whoever he is, making the decision on this quarterback. We got to get a real head coach in here. You know, I was talking to Ira after the game yesterday, great Ira in Staten Island, right? And I agree with him. Go get John Gruden. I know he was blackballed from the league, some kind of racial comment, whatever he said. Okay, fine. Give him a freaking second chance, all right? Enough with this crap now. And I would hire Gruden at the end of the year, give him the keys to the castle, go get me the quarterback, go develop me this quarterback. Because I have no confidence that Aaron Glenn and Darren Muhi are going to get the right guy. And then even if they do, that they're going to be able to develop him the right way. I am sick and tired. And it goes back to the Rodgers move. What a mistake that was, bro. And he was going to be here. Here's something else. You know, this wasn't a case where Rodgers, I don't want to be, I don't want to be here. I don't want to come back. No. He wanted to be here. And they stuck it right up his ass. And when they stuck it up his ass, they stuck it up the entire fan base's ass.
Well, also too, Joe, he was willing to mentor a quarterback. He said that over and over again. He was willing to take a pay cut. And the problem is, if you move on from Rodgers because you want a clean break, okay, fine. But the pivot can't be to Justin Fields, give him $30 million guaranteed. And after he's flipping out at Brian Costello last week for even asking the question about possibly benching the quarterback who had -10 net passing yards, he benches him 2 quarters later. So, he just looks like he is completely in over his head. And to your point, we know the season is cooked. How could you allow this coach, who's not an offensive guy, doesn't call plays on defense, doesn't call plays obviously on offense, how could you allow him to select the quarterback when you've seen all these other teams that have had the first pick in the draft have disaster situations for the QB they're selecting, and they move on from their coach either in that first year or right after? The Titans are the latest example of this. Learn from your mistake. You think the Patriots regret being impatient with Gerard Mayo? You think Denver regrets moving on from Hackett, or the Jaguars with Urban Meyer? Sometimes you just know. And I hate to say it because we all want Glenn to be the guy and succeed because he's a Jet and wanted the job. But you just know he's in over his head. You cannot allow him to move forward if this continues. And what's changing over these next 10 games? Let's be honest.
Nothing's changing, bro. And here's something else, too. They got no players, bro. Man, look at this. Look at who are our – you got Wilson off the field yesterday. They don't use Breece Hall right.
No.
They have no freaking skill players. I mean, Josh Reynolds, Tyler Johnson.
By choice. They did this. They did this on purpose. That's my big issue. They went into the year. We all knew it was a problem, and they neglected it.
That's right. 100%. You are 100% right. And I'm tired of hearing about this offensive line. This offensive line isn't so freaking good. You know, the pass rush is all over them. What did he get sacked 6 times yesterday? I know some of that's on Fields, but I think Taylor got sacked 3 times too. I mean, the offensive line's not that good. They're not opening up monster holes for Breece Hall and Davis to run through. I mean, it's unbelievable. This team has no players. They got a few players on defense. And there were times, and again, I couldn't believe this. On defense, when I'm looking on the sideline and I'm right there in front of the Jet bench, they got Jermaine Johnson and Quentin Williams out of the game. Why are they out of the game? These might be our 2 best defensive players. Then they lose Sauce. He gets hurt. He's in the 10th. He didn't play the 4th quarter. I mean, they got the 2 best players. Let's be honest, bro. Here's the 2 best players on the team are the 2 kickers.
Yeah.
Folk and McNamara. They're the 2 best players we got.
You know what's crazy, though? I don't think the line is nearly as bad as how they've looked at times, because it's like, to me, it all goes back to the fact that I just think this team is so poorly coached. And once again, you can't allow this coaching staff to pick a quarterback. Because think about it, right? If you're bad enough to have the number 1 pick, we knew this team wasn't going to be great this year, but no one thought they were going to be the worst team in football.
No.
And they're clearly the worst team in football. And it's not because of a talent thing. Like, I understand they're not as good as maybe we thought. This is not the Gase 2020 team that had no players at all. Like, there's players on this team. It's just, to me, I've never seen a team look this bad, and there's just like no hope. And the only hope is that whether it's Gruden or even Mike McCarthy or Kevin Stefanski, if he gets fired, Cliff Kingsbury, someone with previous experience, that's an offensive guy. That's how you set your franchise up to have a chance with the quarterback. Because, Joe, how about this? They could pick the right quarterback, and we wouldn't know if they have the wrong coach. See Sam Darnold with Adam Gase. You got to give the best opportunities to set that quarterback up to have a chance.
Yeah, no, there's no question about it. And look, these guys are not the answer. Look, Glenn's got to go at the end of the year. I'm sorry. I mean, that's it. You're not firing him now. You're not going to do that.
No,
you let him finish the year out. You give him a chance the last 10 games, but there is no reason to think. I mean, what are they winning, bro? Can they beat the Dolphins at home? I mean, they're brutal. I mean,
maybe.
Did McDaniel get fired yet?
Not yet. He might be by the time that game kicks off.
Right. Can they beat the Saints in New Orleans? I mean, who are they beating? They're not beating the Bengals this week. Flacco's going to chew them up. They're going to lose twice to the Patriots. Are going to wind up winning the division, bro. They're going to win the division, the Patriots. You watch. They're 5-2 now. They killed the Titans yesterday, as they should. Forget it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I am so disgusted, and more am I pissed off that they let Aaron Rodgers walk, because they just said, here, screw you, fan base. We're going to suck again, and you're going to have to deal with it. And I am sick and tired, bro. I am so tired of being a laughing stock of the NFL. I mean, that game yesterday. I mean, it's not like I know the Panthers won 3 in a row, big deal. It's not like they're some world-beating team.
No.
And that was one of the worst football games I ever saw, bro. Even though this was a close game, did you ever for a second think the Jets were winning that game yesterday? Ever?
No. And what's crazy is Carolina came in. They do not have a win on the road. They lost Bryce Young in this game, so you're going up against their backup quarterback for 2 quarters, basically.
He actually got a pretty good backup quarterback in Andy Dalton. He's not bad. So.
But still, it's like the defense held them to 13 points again. Second game in a row, they've looked like the team we thought they had a chance to be this year. Too little, too late. But they played well these last 2 games. And the Jets, teams going into yesterday, Joe, were 35-1 this year when allowing 13 points or less. The Jets, the last 2 games, have lost both weeks, allowing only 13 points. Like that's what I mean. I get it. Oh, he's not an offensive guy, but that's the problem. If you're this bad and you're going to be picking a quarterback, you need an offensive guy. Otherwise, this is not going to change. They will be bad again next year, and Glenn will be fired just like Brian Callahan was 6-7 games into next year when they suck again.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And there were 2 moments in the game where they had a chance yesterday. There were 2 plays that stick out to me. The first one is in the first half. After Fields goes out of the game, Tyrod's in there, and he hits Josh Reynolds down the sideline to about the 5-yard line. Oh, but wait a minute. There's an illegal motion penalty on that stiff Alan Lazard, which wiped that out. I think we might have got a field goal out of that. I don't even remember.
Why is he on this team still? What a joke.
It's unbelievable how he's still here. It really
no
is.
Devontae Adams, but let's keep Alan Lazard.
Right.
This is what I mean with them being hypocritical with all their decisions, accountability, this nonsense. This guy, Isaiah Williams, yesterday, how many punches he going to let bounce or a fair catch inside the 10?
Oh, my God. Let me ask you a question. What did you think about – and by the way, let me just go back to the other play, and then we'll get to the decision. The other play was the flea flicker. They actually executed it. Lazard's wide open, and Tyrod underthrows him.
Yeah, of course.
And then on the next play, he throws the pick in the end zone. And I'm not killing him for the picks because you got to try something. At least he's throwing the ball down the field.
Right.
And here's another thing too, bro. The second interception, didn't it look like the defensive back put the ball on the ground? Why didn't Glenn? He still had a challenge because he won the first 2 challenges. He had a 3rd challenge because of that. Why the hell didn't he challenge that? What did he have to lose by challenging that play, bro? Tell me what.
Completely agree. I mean, hey, if you want any positive, the only thing Glenn did seemingly right yesterday is they won 2 challenges, baby. There's your moral victory.
Right, that was it. What did you think about going for it on 4th and 5 in that first drive of the game?
To me, I didn't like it because I knew that it was going to be probably an ugly, low-score game. But I understood it if you're going to be aggressive. But my biggest thing is there are some games they decide they want to be aggressive on 4th down. Mm-hmm. There's other games they decide they want to punt at the end of the game. Right. Why are they punting back and giving the Panthers the ball around midfield? They never got the ball again. So, to me, there's no plan. It's like some weeks they want to be aggressive, some weeks they don't. And another example of this, Joe, how about the fact for the second game in a row after he admitted last Monday it was a mistake to not at least attempt the Hail Mary before halftime in London, he did it again yesterday. If you don't trust Justin Fields to throw the Hail Mary, put Tyrod out there and have him do it. How do you go into halftime with a timeout in your pocket in a low-scoring game and not at least give somebody a chance down the field to make a play for the second straight week?
Unbelievable. Nah, it's not, bro. It's beyond the pale. And as far as that decision, the decision to go for it was okay. The problem is you had the wrong guy executing it. You know what I mean? And if I remember the play, I think he missed the receiver badly on that. You know? I mean, it was, I don't know. I'm just, it's so disgusting. We have hit rock bottom in Jet World. Rock bottom has been achieved. No doubt about it.
Do you think they could actually go 0-17? Has that entered your mind at this point?
Yeah. I mean, of course. How could it not? I mean, where are they winning, bro? I mean, I honestly, I gave you 2 games, Miami and New Orleans. What else? What other game can they win? Tell me what other game they win. I don't see it.
Here's my fear, right? That they win 2 of their last 3. Maybe they sneak out a win against a Saints team that's also going to be, in the mix for the top pick. And then the Bills resting their starters for the last game of the year. Maybe they have the division clinch. Maybe they can't move up in seeding. They sit their guys and the Jets win week 18. And then we got to listen to Aaron Glenn try and sell us on the fact they ended strong by winning 2 of their final 3 games. Like at that point, no, the wins need to happen now, not in late December when you've already proven that you can't coach this team going forward. That's my fear.
Overall, it doesn't really matter because you're still going to get a high draft choice and you're still going to have a shot. It's not like it was back in 2020 when there was Trevor Lawrence and he was the clear number 1 pick in the draft and you wound up, killing that because of because you won a couple games. That's not the case now. There's a number of quarterbacks coming out. I mean, they're going to have their choice of you're going to probably see 5, 6, 7 quarterbacks go in the first round next year. That's how many guys. There's a lot of guys coming out, okay? A lot of guys that are going to be out there, I don't know. Is Mendoza, is he the clear number 1? I don't know that. I mean, I don't know.
That's the problem, right? There is no clear number 1. So now you need these guys to evaluate and pick the right one. Yeah. How could you trust them after they pick Justin Fields for $30 million guaranteed?
But my point is, it's not going to matter if they win a couple games. They're still going to have a chance at one of the top quarterbacks. There's no doubt about it. So I don't think it's going to. I don't think winning 2 or 3 games is going to really matter as far as the draft situation is concerned.
But it could matter in whether or not this regime survives. And right now, I don't want them here. I'm sorry. No. Like they got to win. No. If they're going to turn it around, win some games now.
If they don't win a game, Glenn can't come. Let's put it this way. If they don't win a game, Glenn can't come back. He can't come back.
No, 0-17, there's no way. But I think even 2-15, if it's late in the year, there's no way.
Bro, I'm with you. He has given us no signs that he is a legitimate NFL head coach. Not one sign.
It's unreal. I want to play you something because I went back and I was digging up old comments from Glenn where he's hyping up Justin Fields and he's basically taking shots at the Steelers coaching staff and the Bears coaching staff saying, we're going to let him play quarterback. We don't think he's ever been coached up properly. And now he pulls the plug on him. But this was a question at the introductory press conference.
Mike Tomlin. Hold on. Mike Tomlin wasn't coaching him properly? Come on.
Correct. Yeah.
Come on, Aaron. Who the hell are you kidding? Give me a break.
This was Glenn being asked a question on what he looks for in a quarterback.
What do you look for in a quarterback? Like, what's an Aaron Glenn quarterback?
A winner.
Yeah, amen. Right.
So let's get rid of Aaron Rodgers.
Justin Fields has been a big winner in his career, right? You're looking for a winner. You had the guy in the room. You had him. You had the guy, and you dumped him. You couldn't wait to freaking dump him. And I blame the media too, because this media in New York, they couldn't wait to make Rodgers the scapegoat for everything that happened last year, which was total bull. Okay, you say whatever you want. They only won 5 games last year. The guy threw 28 touchdown passes. How many? You know what the list is of Jet quarterbacks that threw 28 touchdown passes in a year? You know how many there are? There's 3, and none of them are even named Joe Namath. Okay, that's number 1. Let's not talk about the kicking game last year. Let's not talk about the defense last year. The coach, the owner dumping the coach after 5 games. Let's not talk about all of that. No, let's put it all on Rodgers. It's all on him. And the media couldn't wait to kick him out the door. They were all for it when Glenn let him go. It is one of the biggest mistakes. This is a franchise, the mistakes that they've made over the years. Let's be honest, bro. Letting Aaron Rodgers leave was one of the biggest mistakes this franchise has ever made. Let's tell it like it is. And we are. And you know who's paying the price for it now? We are. Me, you, every big Jet fan out there, Ira, Joey T, Joey Lazuski, Tommy Keenan, my former partner, Evan Roberts. We go on and on. The great Sean Winters. We go on and on and on. Those are the people who are getting screwed here, okay? The media could give a damn less. They want to see the Jets suck. Let's be real, okay? So that is the mistake. It's one of the, it's right up there with not drafting Dan Marino back in 1983. Let's be honest about it. This is one of the biggest mistakes this franchise ever made, letting Aaron Rodgers go. And as we watch Rodgers, they already lost the other night. He's throwing 4 touchdown passes, right, for Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh's going to wind up winning that division. The Ravens are shot. Give me a break with Cleveland. Cincinnati, I wouldn't completely dismiss them. Even if Burrow doesn't come back, because Flacco can throw the ball. And as long as you protect them, you got big-time receivers in Higgins and Chase on that team. So I wouldn't completely dismiss Cincinnati, but I guarantee you the Steelers are making the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers this year. And that was one of the biggest mistakes that this franchise ever made. And we're paying the price for it now.
I'll tell you what, though, right? Because I agree with you. You and I, from the beginning, wanted a veteran head coach with experience and exactly what Mike Tomlin identified, a quarterback who's competent, which Rodgers certainly still was. But, I don't think it would have worked with Glenn and Rodgers. And I think Rodgers going to a real organization is proving that, he's still competent. He still could play. If he stayed here, this team maybe would be, 2-3 wins right now. And then everyone would still be blaming Rodgers, and it would cloud the real problem with this team, that they hired the wrong coach again. And that's my big thing. Yeah. So now at least everyone could see it clear as day. He's not ready to be an NFL head coach. He's got 10 games to try and turn it around. I doubt it happens. And you're in a spot where you could finally actually get it right. If Woody's willing to admit a mistake, I don't think it's about, he's paid Glenn a lot of money and he doesn't want to write the check. He's got the money. I think it's ego. Is Woody willing to admit they handpicked guys he selected, he oversaw? Is he willing to admit, I screwed up, I need to hit the reset button like Robert Kraft did and get a real coach?
Look, what would I give to have a sit down with Woody Johnson? Okay. All right. I mean, to have a sit down one-on-one with Woody and just sit in a room, just me and him, no media, no nothing, and just sit down and discuss the state of this franchise. I mean, Woody, when are you going to freaking wake up? Are you tired of being a laughing stock? Are you tired of constantly losing? Are you tired and seeing that the stadium's filled with mostly fans of the other team? I mean, how much more do we have to take? I mean, it's an absolute disgrace. It's a disgrace. And I got to tell you another thing. This is kind of a funny thing, and I'm glad. In a way, I'm glad I didn't do it, but maybe I should have. So after the game, Sean has these ridiculous seats, and it is the coaches club, and the coaches club. Behind the seats, you got this big area, it's like a food area, it's like one of that, right? The food is all free. You can't make it up. The food is all free. Only booze that you have to pay for. So after the game, I'm coming out. My wife is with me. She had to go to the bathroom. So we got to walk out through the coaches club anyway, right? To get outside. And I didn't realize that Buttle and what's his name? Grassa, right?
Dan Grassa, yep.
Right. They do their postgame. They do the show, the pregame, postgame show from the coaches club. So now I'm sitting there waiting for my wife to come out of the bathroom, and I look up, and there they are. And I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? So I'm saying to myself, should I go up there and I wasn't going to rip them. Should I go up there and introduce myself to these two guys just to see what the freaking reaction is? Okay. Because they know who I am. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Right.
No, they know you're big fans of their post game.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
But I would have been very nice. I would have went up there, just introducing myself. I wasn't going to come up there guns blazing or anything. You know what I mean? But I didn't do it. And as I look back now, I probably should have, just to see what the reaction would have been. You know what I mean?
It's
just to spice things up yesterday after another disgraceful performance as they, continue to. I didn't listen to the post-game show, but I'm sure they didn't say anything negative about the head coach. They're blaming the players. The coach is fine. Let's just leave him alone. Please.
I mean, the last 6 games, Joe, the Jets have 7 total touchdowns, 0 of them in the first half. The last time they scored a touchdown that was not in garbage time was the Fields 43-yard scramble against Miami when they were down 17-3. They were still the third quarter of that game. 5 of those 7 touchdowns have covered the fourth quarter. They all came with the Jets trailing by at least 13 points or more. 4 of them were scored in the final 4 minutes. They have now gone 2 straight games without an offensive touchdown.
Yeah, without any touchdown, no offensive, any touchdown.
It's unreal. It's like you watch the Jets play offense, and then you watch
17 points in the last 2 games, bro.
Denver scored 33 points in a quarter yesterday.
Right.
It's a different sport when you watch other teams, and that's my fear that they're going to still just bad first year. Let's bring this coach back, and it's like what. You can't watch this product and accept it. We all knew this team was not necessarily going to be great. No one thought they'd be the worst team in football. That's what they are by a wide margin right now.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt, bro. It's not even close. I mean, Miami stinks. New Orleans stinks. Tennessee stinks. These teams all stink, but nobody's as bad. They at least won a game. They at least got to win, I mean, I don't know about Miami anymore. I mean, but I don't know how competitive they're playing. It was 31-6 to the Browns yesterday. I mean,
that might be the only win they get, Joe, because they're playing Miami in the cold. It could be, Quinn Ewers. But by the way, so Zach Wilson, by the way, is so bad that without even playing in any games, they moved him down to third string and moved Quinn Ewers up to their number 2 spot, which is hilarious.
Quinn Ewers, the Texas quarterback, he's on. I didn't know that he's on
their 6th round pick. Yeah, so. There's a good chance he's the one who would start against the Jets, not even Zach Wilson in that game.
God forbid, and he lights us up. Now that would only be very Jet-like if it happened.
All right,
but I'm so ticked off that they let Rodgers go. Really, bro, that just told us that they punted on the year when they let him go. Let's be honest about it.
But they thought they had the answer. That's what's so infuriating.
They had no answer. Justin Fields, bro. Here's how bad Justin Fields is. He was on a real team last year in Pittsburgh with one of the best, a future Hall of Fame coach, Mike Tomlin, okay? And they were 4-2. And Tomlin still dumped him for Russell Wilson, for an over the hill. He doesn't want to play anymore, in my mind, Russell Wilson. Bro, with a 4-2 record, what does that tell you about how bad Fields is? Right? I mean, to me, that's a major indictment right there.
That was part of my argument, Joe. I mean, we really think Aaron Glenn knows more about football than Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin couldn't wait to sign Aaron Rodgers, and the Jets said, "Nah, we're good." They didn't even entertain it. The first warning sign is not even just that they moved on from Rodgers. The fact that he flies in to meet with them. The meeting lasts, according to Rodgers, 10 minutes, and Glenn says, "Get out of here." Really?
Who the hell are you, Aaron? Seriously, Aaron Glenn? Who the F are you as a coach to tell one of the great quarterbacks of all time to get lost? I really, bro. I mean, it's unbelievable. I am so disgusted with this franchise. I mean, I'm telling you, man. I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm just so disgusted. I'm so disgusted. We are such a freaking joke. The worst run franchise in professional sports is not even debatable. It really isn't.
It's never been worse. Now, yesterday, Joe, you were nice enough to come by our little tailgate yesterday.
Well, there's my wife in the background. You should have had the picture with her because she looks what a disaster I am. I mean, I look at myself now and say, you are an unattractive freaking dude.
Don't worry, Joe.
I'm standing next to the young, good-looking virile Jake Asman. Look at that, man. And there's the old man. It looks like I'm ready to go down right now. That's my wife in the background. Everybody is saying, "That's your wife? Are you kidding?"
The lovely Terry. Look, Joe, we have a solution for you, though. Yesterday, one of my listeners, Purple Belt Mike, showed up, and he gave you this.
Is Joe wearing a mask?
I love it. I got to make the whole figure on this thing. That's great. That's great. I look like an ice age. You're still here.
We might need the bags for every game the rest of the way. I might wear the bag at the watch party on Sunday, watching the Jets and the Bengals.
Exactly. A little Van Halen and jump in the background there too. I like
that. Joe rocking the Gastineau jersey.
Before David Lee Roth lost his cookies and decided to leave. That was a smart move. Anyway, we don't want to get into
that. Man. Let's do some super chats here. If you want your comment read by us for Joe to respond to, now's the time. Doug writes in, Joe, decades of being a dire Jet fan, do you ever get jealous or angry when the Giants do well? On the fan, you always seem to take it quite well.
Well, I'm not. Look, I will say this as I'm watching this kid Jackson Dart, and forget the fact that the Giants lost this game yesterday. They got a quarterback. The Giants have a young, real, solid young quarterback that is going to be real good going forward for this team. And that's what bothers me because we could have drafted Jackson Dart. We could have drafted. Why didn't we draft him?
That was my original plan. Remember that?
Of
It was keep Rodgers, because then you also keep Devontae,
Right,
and then
right.
draft the quarterback, whether you trade back into round 1 like the Giants did, or round
Right.
2. Like
Right.
that to me was the most logical way to still be competitive this year. Establish your culture by winning games, not by being 0-7, Aaron Glenn. But they didn't want to do it because they know more than we do, obviously.
And here's something else. Think about this too, as far as Jackson Dart's concerned. Take a look at the first 4 games of his career, all right? And take a look at the first 4 games of Eli Manning's career.
Yep.
And it's not even close. I mean, I'll never forget that game in Baltimore with Eli when he could. I don't even think he got a pass off against the Ravens in that game. He was hiding under the freaking turf. This kid looks like the real deal. I mean, you're a Giant fan. You got to be ecstatic about Jackson Dart. I know he threw a big pick that hurt him yesterday, but they came right back down the field. I mean, they came back should have won the game. I mean, come on. So you got to. I know it was a tough loss. You're a Giant fan. That's a brutal loss. But boy, you got to be thrilled about this young quarterback. No doubt about it.
Sam writes in, shout out to my guy Sam Falk. We love Jake Asman. Unfortunate season for the team. Sam, appreciate you tuning in.
We love Jake.
Gruden doesn't
your
develop
brother yesterday too. Your brother's wearing an Aaron Glenn jersey. How about
yeah,
that?
not aging great. Just like the I gave him that, just like I gave you the Rodgers jersey last year.
The thing about Glenn, as bad a coach as he's turning out to be, is he was a very good Jet. Now that's gonna, unfortunately, him being a terrible coach is gonna hurt his legacy as a player a little bit. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about it. But I will continue to say this about Glenn. The second best corner we've ever had, I'm sorry, Sauce, the second best corner we've ever had next to the great Darrelle Revis.
It's all fair. NY Jets, Florida. He says Gruden doesn't develop young QBs. Stop. Whether it's Gruden or McCarthy or Kingsbury,
Doesn't matter.
They need an offensive coach who's been a head coach before. Like that's what you look for when you have the number 1 pick.
But Gruden knows something about quarterbacks. I'm sorry, the guy won a Super Bowl with Brad Johnson as his quarterback. I mean, I understand he knew the whole playbook that the Raiders had because he had coached the team the year before. But even with that, I mean, you want John Gruden coaching his team, or do you want Aaron Glenn coaching the team? I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer.
I'm with you. It needs to be an offensive guy if you're going to draft the quarterback. You cannot make the same mistake over and over and over again. I mean, they picked the right quarterback with Darnold, and his 2 coaches were Bowles and Gase, who never should have been hired in the first place.
That's right.
Like, that's my big thing. It's like they could even get the quarterback right. We won't know if they have the wrong coach.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Matt writes in, Jake and Joe hit the nail on the head. Woody and AG's egos, why Aaron was let go. It was personal, not business. We need ownership, a GM, and a head coach who makes moves for the team, not their egos. It's tough to argue with that.
Yep. Yeah, that's Matt. You're right on, bro. Right on. Dead on.
Doug wants your thoughts on Fernando Mendoza from Indiana. He likes him the best of the quarterbacks.
I'll tell you, of all, and I watch a lot of, I'm really into the college football more than ever because the NFL's getting, with my team being so bad, it's tough watching the NFL. Now, I did watch the Giants yesterday because I do have some interest because they're the other local team and all. So I want, interesting a game to look at. But, I'll say this about Mendoza. The best win in my mind in college football so far this year was Indiana going into Eugene to play Oregon and would won, 19, 20 consecutive home games and beating them. I mean, to me, that was the most impressive win of any college football team so far this year. The guy looks really good. There's no doubt about it. Maybe he's the guy. If they got the number 1 pick, they take him. I'm good with it. But it doesn't necessarily have to be him. And that doesn't mean that he's the guy either. You know what I mean, bro? So that's something to keep in mind. But I will say that. I mean, he looks very good. IU looks like they're on their way to the college playoff. It's too bad they don't play Ohio State in the regular season. But he to me, the best win so far this year by any college team was Indiana going into Oregon and winning. And by the way, Oregon 56-10 over the woebegone Rutgers Scarlet Knights in Piscataway. How about that?
Yeah, that was I was out Saturday. I looked up and I did a double take, like 50. What? And it was like in the third quarter they had that.
Well, you knew Oregon after losing to Indiana was going to freaking hammer.
Yeah,
you knew that.
Bang Mateo says the drafting and hiring philosophy is the damn problem. Yeah, I mean, but like once again, everyone wants to blame Woody for things, and it starts with him as the owner. But you and I have had this conversation many times using the Knicks for comparison's sake. it comes down to, can you hire the right people? And that's been the biggest problem for Woody.
We
He keeps getting these hires wrong.
We have not had a real solid GM since Mike Tannenbaum. I mean, let's be real. The last real GM we had was Tannenbaum. Every guy we've had since then, Idzik, McCagnon, who the hell was our GM last year? I can't remember. Douglas. Now this guy. I mean, come on. They're terrible. Terrible.
Atlanta Jets fan writes in, do you hear the comments from Draymond Green stating the Jets should relocate because they are so unstable? I don't care what Draymond Green really thinks about the Jets.
Tell Draymond Green to worry about basketball and don't worry about my football team, okay? Do me a favor.
Sam Falk checks in. Shout out to you, Sam. Do you think the Jets even play with heart at this point? I will say this, Joe. One thing I noticed being there, just besides just how dead the stadium is and they just blast music to try and cover up the groans from the crowd and how little energy there is. Watching the Jets bench, at least from where I was sitting, there's no energy on the bench. I don't know if they've quit. I don't think that's fair to say, but
there's nothing. I was right there, bro.
Dead.
I was literally where we were sitting with the great Sean Winters seats. We were literally on top of the Jet bench. And I agree with you 100%. There's no excitement level. There's nobody jumping up and down.
This was a one-score game for most of it, and it felt like no one cared.
It is dead. That bench was absolutely dead. You know, I saw some guys laughing there. I mean, I won't say names. You were 100% right about that.
John writes in, who was a worse owner, Woody or Leon Hess?
Leon was pretty bad, but at least Leon has had the intelligence to finally realize, it took him a long time, finally realize what a mistake he made by letting, with Richie Kotite and actually bringing Bill Parcells in. Who is the guy now, as I keep saying, who is the guy that's going to save our franchise now? Who is that coach? Who is the coach that's going to come here and save us from the disaster we are now? I mean, like we talked about Gruden, we talked about McCarthy, we talk about different guys that are out there. Who's the guy coming here to save us, bro? Who is that?
It has to be one of those candidates. And to those saying, why would anyone take this job? I could argue very easily, if you have the number one pick, cap space, some talent on your line, Garrett Wilson, Mason Taylor, some players on defense, it shouldn't take that long. If you like one of these quarterbacks and you hit on said quarterback, New England with Mike Vrabel turned it around immediately because he inherited Drake May, coached them up, and now look what they're doing. Like, it's not that complicated. No. These rebuilds don't take 5 years anymore.
Look, you have to, if you're going to win in the NFL, okay, you have to have a legitimate head coach. And you have to have a quarterback too. But you have to have a legitimate head coach. If you don't have a head coach in this league, you're not going to win. And, we'll see about Brian Daboll. I mean, I tell you right now, I know he drafted Dart, but if this team doesn't continue, loses games like they lost yesterday, let me tell you, Brian Daboll ain't going to be too long for the Giants either, and they'll get somebody going in there who wants to be the coach for Dart. Let's be honest, because they do have the Giants have the quarterback, it looks like. Do they have the head coach? That's another story.
If you're one of the 1,500 people watching live right now, click the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button right below Joe, that red icon. You can click it. Helps the channel continue to grow. We are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Joe, here's your early look at the Jets and the Bengals. Jets are a 4.5-point underdog against Joe Flacco. To me, I saw some 5.5s originally. I guess it got bet down right away by some folks to move it a little bit, but I don't see the path how the Jets win. I mean, Sauce is probably not playing. He's in concussion protocol. I don't know how they're going to be able to slow down Chase and Higgins.
They're not.
And they don't get a pass rush, so Flacco will have all day to throw, and they're not going to score enough points to keep up. I don't see the path.
No, they'll get blown out in Cincinnati. I'd be shocked if they don't.
Let's see. Robert with a super chat. He writes, Joe, if you had a choice of allowing Glenn to pick the number one pick in the draft or have him trade the pick for player and picks, which do you have more faith in him not screwing it up?
I'm not trading the pick. You got to pick a quarterback. There's no gray area anymore. You have to get the best quarterback available. Can't be trading down. Can't be doing that nonsense. You have to take the best quarterback available. There is no other way to go.
Evan, super chat, cuts the line. Joe, I'm honestly praying for 0-17. I want nothing more than Woody wearing the 0-17 cone of shame all offseason while his rich friends make fun of him. We need full rock bottom. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, I don't. You're probably right about that. As much as I want to see like to see a couple wins, it's hard to disagree with what he's saying there.
I mean, as sad as it is, if you guaranteed me 0-17, they cleaned house, how could I sit here and not and not at least contemplate it?
If Aaron Glenn goes 0-17, you cannot bring him back as the head coach.
Because it's crazy. I don't trust Woody to definitely clean house, even if they finish with 2
I
wins.
know. No. I get that. I get it.
0-17, he has no choice. But 2 wins, he might. I don't know if he's willing to admit he screwed up already. That's my big fear. Not money. It's I
Woody
screwed up hiring this guy.
I'm telling you, man, I would give anything to sit down and talk to Woody Johnson, because there's certain things that we certainly are on the same page with. There's no doubt, as you know, I don't want to get into it, but and I would start with that. If I sat down with Woody, I would first discuss that aspect before I got into the football team, kind of butter him up. Okay, look, Woody, you and I are 100% in agreement on this. Now we get into the football team, and you know what I'm talking about. I would give anything to sit down. Give me an audience for 40 minutes, and let's sit down and talk about the state of our franchise here. Really, I'm serious, bro.
There's no possible way it could be any worse if they listen to your input. No, it's
nope.
John writes in best days on New York Sports Radio, Joe calling Freeman McNeil's postgame demanding the Jets trade Leon Hess. We need another Sonny Werblin. You called Freeman McNeil's postgame show back in the day?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Sounds
That's
right.
great. I think Freeman was at the game yesterday, too.
What?
Wasn't he? Freeman was at the game yesterday, right? They showed him on the screen.
Walker, Bruce Harper, was Freeman there?
Why do I think Freeman was the other player they showed, too?
Let me say this. So the highlight of yesterday's game was watching the highlights from the old days. Seeing Freeman run with the ball, seeing Gastineau do the sack dance. That was the highlight of the game yesterday. Really,
it's unbelievable. Hennessy says, "I'm at the dentist now, but the Jets give me more pain."
Yeah. Well, at least with the dentist, you get the gas. That's what they should do. When we walk into MetLife for a game, they should have like the laughing gas for us. You know what I mean? Everybody gets some gas as they go.
It's honestly though, like that was my first game at MetLife this year, and it's the only game I'll be going to. But like compared to other games I've been to, like for example, a few years ago, Zach Wilson's rookie year, they played the Jaguars on a freezing day in December, and there was so much.
I was there.
But there was more energy. There was energy that day. Like it was a 1:00 game, but fans were still into it. Like yesterday, it was basically a 1-score game throughout, and it was completely dead. Like the apathy for the fan base. Not to mention half the building was dressed up as empty seats for Halloween already. Like it is a depressing environment. And if Woody cannot see that and feel that, then he's just as clueless as potentially this head coach is. It is as bad as I have ever experienced in my lifetime rooting for this team. Because I've never seen a fan base be so out on a regime 7 games in. That's a reflection on just how inept it has been. It's been horrific.
Horrific, bro.
Few more for you, Joe. Matt checks in. Matt from L5. Great job at the L5 tailgate yesterday, everyone over there. We love the Jets, and they don't love us back. Figures we have the best game in tailgate weather in years, and we're the worst we have ever been. That's the other thing, too, right? How many games the last few years at home have been miserable weather conditions? This year, the weather's been great, and the team has gone awful.
I was at 2 games. I was at the Cowboy game 2 weeks ago. It was 90 degrees and freaking smoking hot. And yesterday couldn't have been more nice than it was. And the football games were absolute disasters. I mean, really. I mean, just out and out non-competitive football. I mean, and if the Jets were playing any kind of a really decent team, and I know they're 4-3 and they won 3 in a row and all of that, Carolina. But if they were playing any kind of a real football team, they would have got their rear ends handed to them yesterday. They would have never been in that game. Never.
You can't beat Carolina at home.
Yep.
Who can you confidently say they could beat right now? They could lose to anyone.
Anybody. They right now, Ohio State, Alabama, right? No, I'm serious. Georgia. I mean, I would give those teams realistic shots to beat the Jets. I really would. I mean, that sounds crazy, but I would. I think the Jets, if they played an SEC schedule, would have trouble. They'd lose games. They'd lose to Alabama. They'd lose to Georgia. They'd probably lose to Texas A&M, lose to Ole Miss. I'm serious. I mean, that's how freaking bad they are, bro. Even Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's sitting there at 6-1. They just beat LSU. They got this quarterback, Diego Pavia. He's pretty free. He's small, but he's pretty freaking good too. There's a lot of quarterbacks out there, bro. A lot.
And Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are gonna pick the right one. Okay, I'll play along.
Right.
Abu Dhabi Jet fan, right? Said very disturbing that Aaron Glenn.
Whoa. This guy's in Abu Dhabi?
I could tell you exactly who this is, Joe. This guy, Abu Dhabi Jet fan, long-suffering Jet fan. He lives in Abu Dhabi. Last year, I did an event in London at a casino bar. We had a big meetup the night before the Jets played the Vikings across the pond. And he showed up and said, I'm Abu Dhabi Jet fan. And he's a real person. He loves the team. He's from New York, I believe, originally. He lives out there.
Was he in Egypt for the peace talks last week with Israel and Gaza with Don? Did I see him sitting next to maybe the Prime Minister of Pakistan? Was he?
Abu Dhabi, you let us know.
Was he sitting next to the president of Qatar or Qatar or whatever? I could go into that too, bro. You know me.
I mean, we might need to come up with other things to talk about, Joe. I mean, this is just...
You don't want to get me stuff. You don't want to get me started.
I don't know if my channel will survive that. I don't know if
you don't want to get me into all the politicals. You know where I'm at there. So
we'll save that for the watch party discussion at halftime for everyone.
Yeah, right. Maybe.
At this point, the Jets should be the first team to use AI as a GM and coaches and coordinators. It's just, if we don't laugh, like, you'll just cry because there's nothing good that you could say about this team right now. It's
nothing.
Just horrible.
They're an absolute freaking disgrace. All right? There's no other way to say it. I mean, look. I tell everybody this, and this, you look back, you say, well, we haven't been to a Super Bowl in 57 years, right? That sounds bad. But what sounds worse is when I say to people, well, I was 15 years old when the Jets won the Super Bowl. I'm sitting here today at 72 and still have not seen them in a Super Bowl. That sounds a lot worse, doesn't it?
It's like, what do you even say? It's like people bring up the playoff drought. This team over the last 15 years really has only had even one season where they came close to ending it. The Fitzpatrick year. They haven't won more than 7 games in a season since 2015. That's 10 years ago. It's just and you've said this, and I think it's never been more true. This is the worst franchise in sports, and there's not a single fan base that gets a worse ROI, return on their investment, than the Jet fan. Like yesterday, there's so many diehards. They're still there, passionate to show up. And we get absolutely nothing year after year, and it never seems to change.
Yeah. All the great diehards were there yesterday. Fireman Ed was there, Jetman, all these different guys. Like I said, my buddy Sean Winters, I was there. You were there. Tommy Keenan was there. Joey Lazuski was there. Aaron Staten Island was there. I mean, and obviously there's many more hardcore Jet fans who I don't know who they are who were there. I mean, it is a disgrace what they have done to our franchise, bro. I mean, it's unbelievable. It is a freaking out and out disgrace. And we have hit rock bottom. I thought we hit rock bottom in the 70s when we didn't have a winning season. At least we had some 500 years in the 70s. I thought we hit rock bottom with Richie Kotite, but we came out of that with Bill Parcells, right? I thought we hit rock bottom with Adam Gase. Well, you know what? We now are at – it has never been worse than it is now. I've been a Jet fan since 1965. It has never been worse than it is now. Never.
And you got the bag over your head now.
That's a great shot. Look at that.
Be rocking.
With my Gastineau jersey on. God bless Mark. I love you, Mark. You should be in the Hall of Fame. It's a disgrace that you're not. But, then again, politics always – rears its ugly head. I look good. You know what?
You look great yesterday, Joe.
You know what? I maybe the next time, Terry and I are, having a little fun. Maybe I'm better off if I had the bag on my head.
let me say this, Joe. I said this to Joe yesterday. The Manscaped reads that you do on the the Paid podcast. I mean, that and the lovely Terry in the background laughing at some of your comments is the two best parts of the pod right now. Because certainly talking about the disastrous state of the teams you root for and the Jets, the team I root for, not great right now. My God.
Bro, just remember, there's nothing better than the illusion of extra inches.
Joe, you're the best. We will be listening to the Pain, which will be posted later today. And hopefully I'll see you, Tommy Keenan, whoever you want to bring to the watch party.
Yeah, we're going to, I think we're definitely coming. We've discussed it. Might as well, if we're going to lose, I might as well have a good time losing with a lot of other suffering Jet fans, including you. So now let me ask you one thing though. You are not going to run away, okay?
No radio this time. I'm doing radio. You can listen to me and your favorite, Mike Tannenbaum, driving in. I get off at noon, and then I'm going to hustle over to the venue by 12:30, and kickoff's at 1.
Okay, good. So you'll be there for the entire game this time?
The entire time.
Okay, beautiful. All right,
Can't wait.
Bro, I'll be in touch with you, but right now the game plan is to be coming.
Looking forward to it. Joe, all the love, and thank you for coming by yesterday. Looking forward to seeing you this week.
You know we love you, Jake. God bless, bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Joe Benigno with us there in his weekly spot. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the Oh the Pain podcast. Hit the like button to this channel and the subscribe button to this channel as well. I should mention this. Today is the last day you can enter for your chance to win any of our 3 Asmaniac weekly raffle prizes. First show tomorrow, we raffle away a signed Joe Namath helmet, signed Wayne Corbett football, and a signed Jermaine Johnson jersey. Plus, why don't we do something for everyone who's tuned into the show right now? End of the show today, dealer's choice of a Jets jersey that you want. You could pick Garrett Wilson. You could pick Sauce, JJ, Quinnen. You pick. I send it to you after the show today. If you're the lucky winner, you could gift the membership or send in a $10 super chat or higher that qualifies, and we will enter you in the Asmaniac raffle. Again, thanks to everyone who came out yesterday. Everyone on Patreon, I want to salute you. You guys keep the show rolling year round, especially now when the team's 0-7. So patreon.com/Jake Asman show to be a Patreon member. Thank you to Chris Scheibine, who joined the Patreon yesterday, Peter Pins, Big Time, Aaron Bagley, Mike Quinn, Felicia Rosansky, Matt L., Kevin Donahue, Matias Morales for being our most recent Patreon subscribers. All right, open phone lines for those of you who want in on the conversation. Programming note, I'm going to start the second show today in the 3 o'clock hour because I am filling in for Stephen A. Smith tonight on Mad Dog Sports Radio from 6 to 8 Eastern. So if you want to hear me do 2 hours of sports talk, 6 to 8, Mad Dog Radio, Channel 82 on Sirius. I'm in for Stephen A. later. So we'll start our second show early. Won't go 3 hours because I'll be on the radio at 6. But I do want to still give you guys 2 streams on a Monday because that's what this channel is all about. We commiserate all together. Some super chats, then back to your calls. Bino says, Joe be on the overnight. # legend. Amen. Craig says, can they fire and reassign Glenn to scouting again? You're not going to reassign him. He'll be a defensive coordinator somewhere again. Sean Payton will hire him. Dan Campbell will hire him again. He'll have a job. He might be a good DC. There's plenty of guys that are good DCs that aren't good head coaches. That's okay. I can't move forward with this coach when this is what, once again, he was asked what he wants in a quarterback at his first ever press.
What do you look for in a quarterback? Like, what's an Aaron Glenn quarterback?
A winner.
Fields is 14-36 in his career. This guy should not get another chance to pick a quarterback. Not when you moved on from Rodgers, and this was your plan. Not when you show no feel for how to handle the position. Why did he not bench Fields last week at any point? There's a compelling argument to be made. If he goes to Tyrod last week for the second half, they win that game. And if he sticks with Tyrod for this game and Tyrod gets the full week of prep for this matchup, right? They go into it with a plan for Tyrod Taylor. He doesn't need to come in off the bench cold at halftime. There's an argument to be made the Jets would have 2 wins right now. I won't go that far because this team is a disaster. But, this is what I mean with it being the job of the head coach to oversee the entire operation of the team. And when Aaron Glenn doesn't call defensive plays, and they're still this bad in clock management scenarios and the coaching the loser mentality that he's supposed to change, and he's going into the halftime locker room yesterday with a timeout in his pocket instead of throwing the Hail Mary after he said it was a mistake last week not to do it. What am I supposed to cling on to? That they won 2 challenges yesterday? Awesome. It's very discouraging. Atlanta Jets fan in the house. Do the Jets need to change the venue back to New York with such a nomad franchise? Any chance of that happening? I think we've talked about this a lot over the years. I don't see it. It's not like there's any big plan for a new stadium waiting in the wings somewhere. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. No, I don't think anyone wants this. But it's terrible. Let's get to your calls now, shall we? I believe I pinned the Gusbuster Umbrella hotline. Actually, no, I did not. So I'm going to do that right now so we can get some people on the show who who want to call in. Again, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank everyone who came out yesterday. It was a lot of fun to hang out and connect with so many great people in this community. This picture is an embodiment of really the best fans in all sports and the people who watch the show every day. I mean, there are people who tune in early July when there's nothing going on just to talk about this team and whatever else we get into on the show. So it's always cool to be able to do these events. We did one in Tampa that was awesome. We did one yesterday. And as I always say, everything's great until the game starts. And that, once again, was the case in this one yesterday. Let's get to your calls. This guy was there yesterday. One of my favorite moments was when he walked up to everyone at the tailgate and people were shouting, outside, outside, guessing where this man was calling from. Well, now in the chat, take a guess.
My voice is shot. It wasn't cheering for anything good. I can tell you that much.
a lot of booing and yelling. What the hell are we doing?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went. Our last best chance for a new stadium was that planned Hudson Yards project that Sheldon Silva squashed. There was no other way because Woody's a Jersey guy, but he probably would have went in for a West Side stadium because of the money that would be involved with it. That would have been a compromise that really satisfied nobody, probably other than me. But I think that was our best chance to get back to New York.
I remember people not liking it because of the tailgate situation, but we would have made it our own as Jet fans. There would have been cool bars and restaurants that would have opened up. We would have figured it out. And it's better than not having your own stadium. What's always bothered me about the Jets not having their own place. There's a soccer stadium that's going to be built next to Citi Field. Really? That's where the Jets should be playing. It's ridiculous.
No, I'm of the same mind there. I think the local businesses would have cleaned up, but they're terrible yesterday. But the time was fantastic. Thanks to you and Nick, and thanks to the Luppy brothers for helping us out with a round as we came a little bit short stocked on beer. From the SUV that we came in, and apologies to Peter Pins. I think I displaced him a little bit because I had some rugby buddies I hadn't seen in quite a few years come down and sit with me for a bit. So he was a good sport and kind of moved over a little bit so we could chat. But there wasn't really much to watch as far as football goes, and they were in the game, but the offense is like watching paint dry, and I don't know how you're not fixing it this year with the personnel that we have. I saw this Athletic article about Glenn getting more than 1 year, and all these people, Nick Farrier, I think was saying it on Boy Green this morning. If he has less than 3 wins, they can't keep this guy.
No,
they can't keep him.
But also, Kyle, to your point, right? That was before another awful game where you didn't score a touchdown. I'm telling you, the movement on there's no way they would ever make a change. That's starting to change. You want to read what Brian Costello wrote today, where now he's bringing up how arrogant they were about Justin Fields and what he could do. Now, meanwhile, to be fair, Costello wanted them to move on from Aaron Rodgers. So, I don't forget that. I remember all the people in this town that said, get rid of Rodgers and didn't even consider the idea of bringing him back on a pay cut, keeping Adams and drafting a quarterback. But I do think there's starting to be some movement here with people saying there's no way. I'll tell you what, it continues to look like it did yesterday. It continues to look like it did from a fan standpoint where there were a lot of empty seats in that building yesterday. Things change quick. That's how awful they've been these last couple games here. It's not just losing. It's the way they're losing. And let's not pretend like they were expected to be the worst team in the league going into the year. Nobody thought that.
No. If they had competent quarterback play, they probably wouldn't be the worst team in the league.
No.
And, my stance on Rodgers was always, well, you have to let the new regime choose who their guy's going to be. They chose. It looks like they chose extremely poorly. And now we're living with the results of it. So, it's Mendoza or it's, one of thes guys that's coming out, the Oregon QB or whomever comes to the top of the heap. And that's what we're looking at. We'll probably start talking about draft prospects, I would say, in probably the next 2 or 3 weeks. And
I'll tell you what, it will be the earliest I've ever done it, but I will start bringing some draft people on. We'll get Dom C on if he's available. We'll have Dylan do a little film on some of these guys, or Joe Blue would do some film on some of these guys during the bye week, because what else do we have to look forward to at this point?
Yeah, I can't in good conscience drag these guys to another Jet disaster. I dragged them across the country to Vegas 2 years ago. I dragged them across the country to Glendale, Arizona last year for an absolute debacle. And then there was yesterday. So, we're already looking at maybe Navy Notre Dame in November 2026. So this is what we've come to. I appreciate your hospitality, you and Nick. Have a great day, Jake.
Kyle, great to hang out with you yesterday, man. I'm glad that despite the game, you still had a good time before. All right, maybe during at some point. I don't know. It was bad, man. It was so depressing too. It's just like I kept seeing so many people leave in like the third quarter and like beginning of the fourth. And you look at the score. It's a 1-score game, man. Like they had multiple chances at the end of the game with the ball to go down the field and score a touchdown. They win the game. And it was 13-6. And yeah, obviously I had no confidence in them doing it, but it's like, it's the NFL. You just watched the Denver Broncos yesterday score 33 points in a quarter. Like every team can score besides the New York Jets. And the Jets, they don't just lose. It's the way they lose. Like there is like stats that you can't believe exist when they seemingly lose games. And that to me is why this regime needs to be one and done if they're sitting there with the number 1 pick. They should not be this effing bad. They shouldn't be. I didn't think they were going to be great this year. I had them at 7 wins and then moved them down to 6 when we learned the Tuesday before week 1, Elijah Vera Tucker was done for the season. But we didn't think this was going to be a team picking first in the NFL draft. No one did. And let me also say this. The dumbest group of Jet fans on the internet are the ones who think this is some sort of conspiracy and all part of this like calculated plan to tank for the top pick. They're not trying to tank on purpose. They didn't give Justin Fields $30 million guaranteed to tank. They could have just said, we're going to have Tyrod and we're going to have Brady Cook be our quarterbacks. You think Woody wanted to spend $30 million to tank? He was sold by Glenn that, we could move on from Rodgers, but design an offense around Fields where we could be a better offense. We could be well coached. The defense can be what it was a few years ago, which finally the last 2 games it has been. Too little, too late, though. Right? We're going to play great special teams. No, you're not. Your special teams cost you immediately the first game of the year with a player who didn't belong on the team that we all knew in Xavier Gibson. So this is not some grand conspiracy to tank. They're so inept that they are in position to maybe be the worst team in the NFL and get the number 1 pick, but it's not part of this like plan. Aaron Glenn didn't come in and say, hey, Woody, we're going to suck this year. He said, we're going to win now. He said, we're going to go out there and we're going to be a competitive team you're going to be proud of. Their win total wasn't 3 in Vegas. It was 6.5 at FanDuel Sportsbook. This team is awful, but they're not awful because of a complete lack of talent. There's players on this team. The same people that told me, Jake, the defense is bad talent-wise. What'd you expect? Explain how now all of a sudden you want me to laud Aaron Glenn for the defense playing well the last 2 games. They have good players on the defense. They do. It's not perfect, but they got good players. This is not 2020 where the only notable player on that team was Quinnen Williams, who I feel terrible for, by the way. This is not a grand conspiracy to tank. They just suck. It probably makes some of you feel better if you think this is intentional. It's not. This is not a head coach who said, yeah, I want to start 0-17 in my first year. That's my big plan. Not to win a football game. Seriously, if you actually think that, You might be as inept as the Jet regime. Ridiculous. Kick out Jams Joe says the tailgate was great. The inside at MetLife was absolutely dead. Barely anyone cheering on third downs. Whole stadium experience needs to be overhauled like the team. The cheering you can't help because the team is terrible and apathy set in yesterday. I heard it. I witnessed it. I experienced it yesterday. What I will say is the in-game experience is horrific. They don't show any replays. Good or bad, they don't show enough replays. It's terrible. My advice to anyone in game operations there at MetLife, show replays. I had to go back and rewatch this yesterday because I feel like I missed a lot. Because you don't get the replay. And even when you try and watch a play off the big board, they cut to silly angles that don't show you the horizontal angle that you are accustomed to watching on a TV. It's a terrible in-game experience. The building can be loud when the fans are into it because Jet fans are passionate. The best environment I've ever been in for any sporting event was Rodgers' home debut on 9/11 in 2023. But yesterday, Seth nailed it with his super chat here. We're going to play a clip with the Jets down, I think at the time, 13-6, about to get the ball back, of the scene in the movie Miracle of Herb Brooks' famous speech to the Americans before they played the Soviets in the Olympics. And they screwed it up. As they start playing the video, an NFL ref gets on the mic and starts announcing whatever the penalty was. And you missed the majority of the speech. And then it cut back. It didn't fit. It looked like absolute doo-doo. So they didn't even get that right. And Seth was there and he noticed it. Only the Jets could take the motivation out of the Herb Brooks speech. The entire organization's a disaster. They don't do anything right. The last great organizational decision the Jets made was to bring back the old uniforms. That's it. Joke. Hey, we don't have any wins, but at least we have each other, folks.
I'm gonna do my silly dance, cause we're built like shit. What kind of a question is that? We have the moral victories. My team has no wins. No wins. Woo!
Hey, Aaron Glenn's master plan, though, clearly to be 0-17 and be the first head coach to ever do that. Yeah, that's what he wants. Okay. More of your calls, ladies and gentlemen. This man was at the game yesterday. He was at the game with his brother. And he brought his son to his first ever regular season Jets game. Some might say that's bad parenting. Others might say he's teaching his son a lesson early on that life is not fair. And when you root for the Jets, expect the worst. Ladies and gentlemen, the champion of 2025's as Maniac Madness, Mr. Bonesy.
The only thing better than Alden shoes is Joey D, cause he totally rules. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody. Damn, this show is crazy.
Jake, my brother, you know what's really funny? I was just saying to Joe this morning, like, you know, Sonny is at the age where, like, I could really let him go. Like, you know, like he could flutter to a different team so easily. Like, but I ingrained it in him already to be a Jets fan. And I'm wondering if I should do this to him. Like, you know, and Joe and my brother just goes, yeah, he's got to be miserable with us. You can't let go. So Sonny that was the best thing that happened yesterday. Sonny had an actual great time, even in the game while it was impossible to watch. He was
the only good part about it. So I sat, for those who weren't there, I sat next to Mr. Bonesy and his brother Joe and Sonny. It was like me, Nick Shine. And Sonny was the only good part about watching the game because he was into every play. He was excited. He was wearing his Jason Taylor jersey, which was great. I mean, he was adorable, man. And I know you guys got to go on the field afterwards with him too, which was great.
Yeah, no, going onto the field was cool. We played some quick, one-on-one plays, throwing Sonny the ball. It was Joe versus Sonny. That field is trash, also, to say the least. I mean, being out on the field it's just like, this field is trash. Now I understand why they cry about it, but The Jason Taylor jersey was funny because when Joe B walked up, he saw the 99 because he had 99. He had Gastineau on. He goes, "Oh man, what a jersey, Gastineau!" And then I turned around and I go, "It's not Gastineau." And he goes in the perfect Joe B voice, "Taylor." It was classic. It was classic. But I'm still just. I'm numb. I've been numb. You know, a lot of Asmaniacs came up to me yesterday, be like, "Where you been, Bonesy?" And it's just like, you know, yeah, I got some shit going on in real life, but I've just been miserable. I've just been like, you know, down in the dumps. Joe B nails it today with the Rodgers stuff. It's sickening. It's sickening to think. And also, I don't come on here because I don't feel like arguing with all the fans and all my friends that you know, we argued for how many months about getting rid of the best thing that's ever happened to us in terms of how close was Rodgers to breaking all our stat records in a shit year. You know, he was real.
You more argued about Joe Douglas.
He was something that we didn't appreciate enough, and now we're just back to commiserating with how bad quarterback play can be. And we didn't think we were going to see worse than Zach Wilson, but I will say for all of us giving the defense a little bit of credit for these past two games, it feels to me just like the Zach Wilson years of when we would go against the Jaguars and they would just barely beat us, and teams almost play non-aggressive the past when we had Zach Wilson because they didn't believe in the quarterback, and they're not looking to blow us out. Like they're not going for it when they should. They're running the ball and punting because they know we're so miserable on offense. It's like, no, let's not make a mistake and give them a chance. Let's just make them earn it on offense. And obviously we can't do it. I mean, yeah, Jermaine being back definitely helps. I loved watching him out there, but even I'm so sick of just watching. And I'll even say this. I'll go as far to say this. We can't even really bury Tanner yet. He doesn't have a quarterback to run the offense. Like,
there are some concerning things though with him though, man. I mean, Breece Hall not having a single target last week, only having 3 yesterday in a game you knew going in all week Garrett Wilson was likely not going to play. Look, I don't want to completely write off Angstrom because I fully acknowledge he's a bit hamstrung with his quarterback situation, but I don't think they played the field's strengths. Where were the design runs for Justin Fields? And I saw a damning stat, by the way, about Breece that I think Zach Rosenblatt had in his story in The Athletic. Aaron Glenn said a lot in the offseason. I even played that clip on the postgame yesterday that the Jets themselves posted of him talking about Breece being this dynamic pass catcher. Breece Hall has run 112 routes this season. That ranks 17th among running backs. At this time a year ago, he ran 186 routes, which ranked first. So Hackett utilized Breece better than Engstrand has to this point. He's run 29 rounds the last 2 weeks, which ranks 26th among running backs. And I just mentioned it, only 3 targets. And they all came yesterday against Carolina. Only 1.8% of his routes have been screen routes, which ranks 47th out of 62 qualifying running backs. Did you watch Christian McCaffrey last night? Like Breece can be a dynamic playmaker. And in a game where you knew you didn't have Garrett Wilson, how is he not a focal point of the offense? How do you not find a way to get him more involved when you have no downfield passing attack because of your quarterback situation and because J.C. Horn's going to lock up Josh Reynolds and there's nobody else, and Reynolds is not good to begin with? That's a total mismatch.
I do think, though, those are all damning stats and kind of gross to when you say it out loud. But Justin Fields was missing the 2-yard and 3-yard plays to the run, the checkdowns. He's not even going through his reads. He's out there just in quicksand. I knew that Justin Fields always had like a confidence thing. Is that when his confidence is low, he fumbles the ball. He's careless with the ball. He can't make decisions. He holds on to the ball too long. But even the easy throws that I know he can make, like I'm with you yesterday. I hated the replays, the screen time at the stadium is awful. They show you nothing. Even on challenges, we were waiting like a minute and a half to 2 minutes to see what happened in the challenge. It's like, I just want to see what fucking happened. Just put it on. You have 8 screens in the stadium. Just put one on there. But Justin Fields he missed Isaiah Davis twice in the flats, and I was just like, yo, how are you missing that throw, bro? Like,
he's not very good. I mean, that's the reality.
It's disgusting that we were so willing to just part ways with Rodgers, knowing that the Jets,
not even at least consider it, right? That to me is the big thing. It's like the way it was handled. I understood that. I disagree with it. You and I wanted Rodgers back. Benigno, plenty of Asmaniac called in, like Neil. I could think of a lot of callers who wanted Rodgers back. Black Gypsy, like there's a lot of us. But the way it was handled, and I said at the time I didn't like how it was handled. Like that should have been more eye-opening. That they were just that dismissive of a Hall of Famer who was open to staying and at least pick his brain, have the conversation, see if you guys could get along. Like it was just like, nope. Get rid of him no matter what, but let's keep Alan Lazard around. We're trying to change the culture, but still keep Lazard here. Still try and keep a lot of the same players who weren't very good. Xavier Gipson, Michael Clemens, re-signing Tony Adams, right? Keeping or re-signing Isaiah Oliver. Like it never jived with me how it was handled. And if you're going to move on from Rodgers, that's your prerogative, but you can't say everything they said about Fields and be this wrong about it. It proves to me you don't have a clue. I pulled this quote up from Glenn during, I think this was in late OTAs or mini camp, or maybe at the start of training camp. He was asked about Fields, and he said, quote, obviously we want to utilize his legs, but we also want him to play quarterback. Glenn said, here we go. Glenn said at the owners' meetings, this offseason, we're going to allow him during OTAs to go out there and run an offense, and we're going to make sure we surround him with the right type of people that's going to make him successful. They didn't do that when you look at the receiver room. I want him to be a part of what we're doing. But I think he's a dynamic player, and I think there's more that we can get out of that player, and I'm looking forward to that. Like, this was their hand-picked move. They wanted him. They coveted Justin Fields, and I get it. The other options weren't great. We all acknowledge that, but if you're going to make that your move, the plan needs to be better. How do you allow him to play in that game last week if his legs are compromised, which he said they were this past week? It shows that you have no feel for managing an offense, handling a quarterback situation. So, why should I now allow you, if you have the worst record in franchise history, to now pick which quarterback you want to potentially ruin with the first pick in the draft? It doesn't work. You cannot do it.
Yeah, and just all those little, comments from Glenn, like when Will McDonald started doing the
coaching, man.
Coaching. Oh. It's just coaching, man. Just coaching. Like he was so confident before the game started. It really is. And then you played it earlier. It might have been yesterday's. I don't know I think it was yesterday's episode when you played Aaron Rodgers talking about how Glenn handled that interview.
Yep.
It just makes you sick to your stomach. A Hall of Fame guy wanted to come back and make it work, make it right, make things right, save us as Jets fans. And we literally pushed the man out the door. And
it wouldn't have worked here with him, though. I'm telling you. I'm yes, it looks horrible. This would not have worked with Rodgers. The RDS people, the Rodgers derangement folks, would have blamed him for everything. Glenn would have got a pass. He would have been then allowed to pick the quarterback, and this wouldn't get any better. At least the only hope I could give you, Jet fans, is if this keeps going the way it looks and they completely bottom out, they're picking number one for the first time since 96. I don't see how Woody could keep this regime. I don't think he can do it.
But if you look at I liked what some of the things that Glenn did in terms of when he came in and said we were going to smash people in the mouth and run the football.
We wanted to believe
that was our plan for a couple games, and it was working. And then Justin Fields, once people realized that this man can't play quarterback at all, it went back to the Zach Wilson defense. When you have 9 people in the box, we can't do anything. And yes, I do understand that Garrett Wilson didn't play yesterday, right? But look at the other side of town. They got a rookie quarterback in Jackson Dart who lost his guy, Malik Neighbors, yesterday. Yep. The kid throws for 3 touchdowns, 285 yards to who? Wendell Robinson is a slot 5'9" receiver who's like a $160 soaking wet. Goes for 95 yards and a touch. Then he goes to backup tight ends. Danny Bellinger's been on the team for 4 years, kind of like our Ruckert. Does nothing with nobody, catches 80 yards and a touch. And Theo John, it shouldn't be this bad. The fact that it's this bad, like you said about at the game, it was dead.
Awful.
Every time they brought up a 3rd down, 3rd and short, 4th and short, and they have the stadium crowd bullshitting us and how loud we're getting it with the numbers going up. It's like it shouldn't be this bad. It shouldn't. With this roster, we want to talk about the Gase years and how bad everything is. This roster isn't close to that roster. You give us Aaron Rodgers with this run game, the same mentality of we're going to punch you in the mouth. I don't see how it could. I guarantee we would have been 3-4 to 4-3, worst case scenario with Rodgers. We would have won some of those close games. We would have been putting up points, and it wouldn't have been just blowouts where all of our stats are coming from trailing. As bad as last year was, as bad as incompetent as Ulbrich was as a coach and as a leader, we were still 10 times better in every situation across the board. This has been an utter disaster. I'm sick to my stomach that we're still in October and this is how we feel. It's gross. It's not fair. As fans, we put up in way too much time and way too much effort. It's we don't deserve this. It's disgusting.
It's tough to argue with anything you just said, man. It's brutal. And look, there's 10 games to go. I think it'd be a huge mistake if they did anything now. I don't think they're going to. I think Glenn deserves the year, but
it's Brady Cook time. It's Brady Cook time.
You're going to see him at some point. This is going to be one of those years.
Brady Cook.
Yeah, you'll see him at the end of the year. It's going to be one of those years where you're going to see 3 quarterbacks start for them. And we've seen a lot of these years over the years, and this is going to be another one of those. I don't see how it's not.
Last thing I just want to say is how my son, he considers you as so famous that he can't call you just by your first name. I'm like, yo, Jake's our friend, Sonny. You could just say Jake. And he goes, no, Jake Asman is famous. I'm calling him Jake Asman. And I just want to say from the Benigno Bros, thank you for yesterday.
Yeah, sorry,
Joe
Jake.
Bonesy, yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to say thank you one more time. It was my first Jet game.
You poor bastard.
The Jets are the Jets. It was so cool seeing it in person. I was a lot cooler seeing it up close than I thought it would be. So thank you again. And thank you, Nick Shine, for getting us on the field too.
Right. Nick Shine was great, man.
Yeah. Thank you to Nick. So
Right.
we had field access. Right? I'll tell the story for those who didn't know. So we had 75 field passes for the game yesterday to go on the field post game and take like a group photo. And I originally was going to go, but as I was just sitting there watching the game, I was just so depressed. I was like, I didn't want everyone to see me in that state. So I said to Nick Shine, I go, can you lead the group for the post game? I don't want to be around people right now. I will feel terrible. People like trying to talk to me and say hello. And I'm just like a complete, dick, or just like didn't have it in me to be around people. So I'm glad that Sonny Bonesy was able to still get on the field yesterday. And thank you to Nick Shine for handling that.
Hell yeah. Sonny thinks Nick's his best friend. He asked me when he was seeing Nick this morning. Yeah. Nick picked up Sonny one time and Sonny farted right in his ear. Because we were eating so bad and Sonny didn't want to use the porta potty, so he was holding his shit until we got home. There he is.
But
Getting farted on.
Jake is bullshitting everybody right now because Jake turned to me, had red in his eyes, and goes, I cannot be seen like this. You have to bring them. And his eyes bugged out of his head. I was like, okay, Jake, calm down. I got you, buddy.
I was like, I can't be around people right now. I'm sorry. I can't do this.
No, Nick was great. He led the charge. We all enjoyed going onto the field. Even
is there a photo? I didn't see a group photo for anyone who did.
It's not
go.
a group photo. It's field access as a group. There's a difference. So everybody kind of got to gallivant and walk around between the 30 and the 30. And then they had like little Pop Warner guys playing on one side of the field. So they had it roped off. And like I said, it was group access, not like a group photo. So, but it looked enjoyable to everyone. Everyone kind of did their own thing, walked around. And, little Bonesy, Sonny was the MVP yesterday, man. He made that game fun. Like every time, like the Jets sucked, I just played with Bonesy's kid and him. He was sitting first. Bonesy was sitting next to me, and then it was Sonny, and then me and Sonny were playing so much that Bonesy just goes, "Dude, you got to switch. Move over here." Like Bonesy was blocking me and Sonny from having a great time. He's like, "All right, I got to sit next to Joe. I'll move over." Sorry, guys.
Yeah, Sonny had a great time, and that's really all that matters. Jay Quest brought his kid, John Lucas, and they literally had catch for probably a good half hour. and that was one of my most beautiful things I got to see was our kids playing football. All of us, of course. Jake says it every time, and so do you, Nick. Everything is fun until the game starts. Once the game started.
It's so true. And I said it to everyone that came up to me at the tailgate. I'm like, enjoy this. This is the best part of the day. And it always is, because the team on the field is horrific and it doesn't get any better.
Yeah, next year, we're not going to buy tickets. We're going to put that money instead into like a big giant indoor tent outside, TVs. We're just going to stay in the parking lot and use that as the party spot instead of going into the game.
Way to do it.
Brutal. Well, gentlemen, both of you, big parts of yesterday. Nick, so thank you.
Nick, you spit your gold. I love you guys.
I love you too, buddy. Great seeing you and the family. Tell Joey what's up.
I will.
Oh, Jake, one more thing. At one point when it got bad, I look at Sonny and I'm like, you ever seen a foot with 4 toes? And Joe's like, no, don't do it to him. Don't do it. Like there was nothing else to talk about with the game. And at one point I was just like, hey kid, you want to see something memorable?
Is it true that this is what it sounded like when Sonny apparently ripped one in your ear?
He did. I had him up over my shoulder going outside, and all of a sudden I couldn't hear it with the wind whipping, but I felt the warm burst of air hit my head. And I'm like, did you just fart on my head?
Unbelievable. Nick, all the love. Appreciate you.
All right, buddy. Good work. Glad you calmed down and your eyes are back to normal color.
Yeah.
Good work, pal.
Thank you, Nick Shine, for leading the group on the field yesterday. I thought it was a group photo. I had no idea. I said to everyone going, though, I'm like, make sure you guys don't hurt your ACL. Big fella nails it. And he has maniac tear an ACL or an Achilles on the turf. Not that I know of big fella, but I have not heard from everyone who went on the field. Amanda writes in, I almost fell asleep during the offensive drives. Worst football I've ever seen. You were knocked out. It was brutal. I don't blame anyone who left early. Like I think my brother and his friends who I got tickets for, they left in like the third quarter. And it was like a 1-score game for most of it. That's what's so crazy. It's like you had no confidence in the Jets being able to score any points. That you left, and it's not like they were getting blown out. This was a close game for a lot of it. It's unreal. Hey, shout out to Kevin. He says, new listener to the show, diehard Jets fan, first discovered Jake when he would cover for Michael K. Love the show. Kevin, thank you. Appreciate that. Nice of you to be a part of the community here. Let's get you a membership. Oh, wow. No one has gifted a membership the entire show. We still got 1,000+ people watching live. I'm going to gift 5 coming up to the community. We will enter you in our jersey raffle at the end of the show for a Garrett jersey or a Sauce or a JJ or Quinnen jersey in the color of your choosing. And if you get a membership from me, we'll enter you in tomorrow's raffle for the signed Jermaine Johnson jersey, signed Corvette football, and the signed Broadway Joe Namath jersey. Or signed Broadway Joe Namath helmet. So, gift away. Abu Dhabi says, if Woody and AG had a grand conspiracy to tank, we'd win the division. That's how inept they are. Yeah, maybe the one time the Jets actually try to tank, it's like Major League. They win the whole damn thing. I love it. Abu Dhabi, well said. Peter W. in the house. Bro, I'm supposed to be at Paul Brown in Cincy this Sunday. I think I'm going to rock a paper bag. Hey, do the Joe B. Put the bag on your head. Love it. Mike D's Nuts says, B said Garrett Wilson played, and I believe him. He knows. Yeah, Beastbreaker yesterday, not his finest moment, but we love Beast, and I'm sure he'll bounce back with some great calls. He's not on hold currently, though. He might be boycotting the show. I see him in the chat, but he's not currently on hold. Black Gypsy is the first to gift a membership today. He's in the raffle for 1. Thank you, Mr. Gypsy. All right, let's get to more of your calls here. Ladies and gentlemen, up next is a man whose mustache sent shockwaves through the tailgate yesterday. The great Thunderlips is on the line. Hello, Mr. Thunderlips.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
What's up, dude? Great to meet you and your family yesterday.
That was, yeah, you too. It was so much fun before the game, like you said. You know, that's the best part of the game, or the whole experience was meeting everybody. it was a blast, man. Nick was so freaking cool, like to the kids too, like just playing football with them, and like he's always like a big uncle, extremely likable. Everybody was. It was awesome just to meet everybody coming up and meeting the family and shit like that. Those wristbands that they gave out for the tailgate were like impossible to get off. They were so tight. So like we had Panthers fans sitting behind us, and of course they were talking shit. So the wristband was so tight, I felt like it was cutting the circulation off of my wrist. So I was trying to get it off, and Genergy was in front of me, and she was trying to use her nails to get it off because I didn't have anything sharp, because the keys are all like, keyless entry now. So at one point I made the freaking Panthers fan try to get it off with his teeth. So he was just sitting there like gnawing on my wrist for like 10 minutes. It was so freaking stupid. It was awesome. But dude, when Kyle Clifton came up in the that little cart or whatever, someone screamed, "He's outside!"
It was so funny.
It was anybody who's on the fence, going to a meetup and stuff like that. It's just do it, because the community's great, and that's what makes the experience. You know what I mean? Like the kids, my wife, they were talking about more the pregame than the game because it was boring as shit.
It really was, for a game that was close, so boring. There were no exciting plays for the Jets on offense other than maybe like a couple Mason Taylor catches, the one Johnson catch down the sideline. There was nothing though, man.
You think they would have utilized Mason Taylor more too? It's like it's unreal. It's depressing that Jordan, the 13-year-old, his only other game was that Thursday night game against freaking the Jaguars. You know what I mean? Like it's Zach Wilson's funeral game. It just sucks so bad. But like on the ride home, I'm listening to all the other games and listening to like recaps and Daniel Jones and Scheichen's offense. It's like they have a plan, and they're putting a round peg in a round hole. It's like they fit in these offensive systems, and you got Jacoby Brissett. They're putting up points. We can't even score a touchdown. The Jets don't deserve us as fans.
No, it's horrible. And like I think yesterday is hopefully one of those eye-opening games for Woody Johnson, because I think when you see the stadium look and feel like that against a team that's not very good that you're playing, and it looks that bad, like if that doesn't cause you to reevaluate things, I don't know what will.
Everybody waiting online for the on-field passes. It's like, I don't know, it just felt like everyone was like dejected and people were talking and stuff, but it wasn't really about the Jets. You know what I mean? It's like no one, I don't know. It's like no one gave a shit. So the only gripe I have about the tailgate, it said 80s music.
Yeah.
And I think the DJ played volumes 10 through 17 of That's What I Call Music and just put it on shuffle because I didn't hear any 80s music. You know what I mean? So.
I wasn't paying close enough attention to the music, but I enjoyed the tunes. To me, it was tremendous.
I'm just an old man. I wanted my 80s music. Yeah, Benigno rolling through was freaking, awesome. You see the khakis and the New Balance shoes, and it's just like, the older man starter kit right there. I love it.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. Love you guys.
Thunder Lips, thanks for coming out yesterday, man. I hope your family had fun despite the outcome of the game. Brutal. It sucks because I feel like I care more than the Jets. Like I feel bad that they suck and people like spend money to come to these games and like don't get to see a win. Like I feel like I care more than the owner a lot of times. That sucks. That's not how it should be. King Lowski is gifted a membership. That's why he's our king. He's in the raffle for one. Cheeseman writes in, glad I live across the country. Otherwise, I would have spent money to watch that trash. I don't even yell at my TV anymore. Brutal, even by Jet standards. Yeah, I get it. I really didn't do a lot of yelling at the game yesterday, and even the post-game show yesterday, I really didn't yell a ton. I'm resigned to the fact that this head coach is inept, and I just want to see just how bad is it going to continue to get? And does it get bad enough where the ownership will step in and admit a mistake and move forward? Hire a proven offensive head coach, whether it's Mike McCarthy, Kevin Stefanski, Cliff Kingsbury, John Gruden. They all would be better for a young quarterback you're drafting. Even if they're not the long-term answer, they could develop the quarterback. And we got to eventually find a different coach to get us over the top. I'll worry about that then. But if we screw up the quarterback selection again, we are never getting out of this rut. Boomtown in the raffle for one. Boomtown's gifted membership went to the great Burnt Ballsack. Yes, that is his name. I'm sure his parents put a lot of thought into that one when they were deciding what to name their child. I'd love to know why they ultimately decided to go with Burnt Ballsack, but I don't know if Burnt Ballsack is available to call on right now to explain, but there you have it, folks. Boomtown gifting a membership to Burnt Ballsack. Tremendous. More of your calls here on the show. Let's say hello to Frankie C. Hello, Frankie.
Hey, what's up, Jake? Another non-victory Monday, so it's getting brutal at this point. But dude, everyone's talking. The defense did play better yesterday for sure. But correct me if I'm wrong, but we didn't have any sacks or turnovers again, right?
Correct. No turnovers. Do they have? I don't think they had a sack.
I don't think we had any sacks. So it's like, yeah, the defense.
No, they had one. They had one. They had
All
the
right,
Jawan
okay.
Briggs one.
Okay, yeah, true. So we got one sack, but still, I mean, you're gonna have to. You got to force turnovers. We still have one forced turnover through 7 games. So
correct, and no interceptions on the year, and they really never even come close to getting one either. Too, there was one play yesterday where maybe Stevens could have had a play on the ball. He's actually been pretty good, so I'm gonna.
He had a good game yesterday. Yesterday was his best game, I'd say. Got to earn that $10 million a year or whatever moves you gave him, right?
Yeah, it's just the defense has played well the last couple of games, certainly a lot better, which if you want to find some silver linings, I guess you can. But ultimately, like when you look at this team, we've seen this before, and it never leads to wins because the offense is that inept. And ultimately, like the head coach said he'd coach the whole team. He had got his handpicked quarterback that he wanted in Fields. They're going to do all these things with Fields. And now they've already benched him because he was so inept. He should have been benched last week, and Glenn was offended by the line of questioning and then benched him 2 quarters later. So it just tells me he has no feel for quarterbacks, offense. I have no faith in this coaching staff. None.
No, and it's like the more defensive he gets, which is increasing every week, I feel like that's like shows he's just overwhelmed. It's so clear to everybody. And the thing is too, man, Woody's not a stranger to, like, I mean, the last 3 coaches, obviously, but I believe Woody owned a team, took over in 2000. He hired Al Groh, who went 9-7. They missed the playoffs. He was one and done on his own accord. Then he hired Herm. They went 10-6. They made the playoffs his first year to lose. I think they lost to the Raiders. Then you hired Mangini, right? Another first year playoffs. We got in the wild card. Then Rex made the playoffs his first year. And then Bowles, he went 10-6. They obviously had that choke game to Buffalo, but it's not like Woody isn't. I mean, up until Gase and then Saleh and now Glenn, I mean, he had a pretty good track record for hiring coaches. Like, so he should know better than anybody. Like, you can have success early on if you're doing the right things and you're putting the right people in place. So, I mean, he's got to just look back at history and, like, between that and, like, obviously we talked about last week with the quarterbacks who got drafted first overall, their coaches getting axed the next year. So, I mean, I think, and honestly, too, with Aaron Glenn, to salvage the relationship with the fans, it's better to just cut it now, because if this guy gets another year and we're sitting here next year starting at 1-4 and he gets fired, there's going to be so much more resentment from the fan base, I feel like. So I feel like to do right by Glenn, obviously, if this keeps up the way it's going now, I mean, he's got to just let him go for his own sake, too. But, man, I got to give you credit, though, Jake. I mean, 0-7, there's 1,000 people watching. I think you transcended Jets and football, and you created this show, and you created community, and it's just like the fact that we got 1,000 people in here, and you're, I mean, we all care. That's the sad part about it. It's just like we care. You say it constantly. They don't deserve us as fans, and just want to get a W, man. I mean, at this point, I feel like W's are going to hurt us, and I don't want to be like that fan in October, especially. But, I mean, that kid Mendoza, I mean, that game he had on Saturday, I know it's early, but he looks, to me, far and away like the best prospect. He's got that big 6'5", like Josh Allen frame. He's passionate about the game. I feel like there's a big gap between, I don't want to miss out on this guy, honestly. So if we get these last, like in other years, we win when people are benching their starters, or we get a game at the end of the year, I do not want to miss out on this kid. So again, like we said last week, I mean, it's a very simple plan. You get rid of Glenn, you hire. I mean, I'm Kingsbury, McCarthy. You take Mendoza, and then, like you said last week, it puts us in such a better position than we're at right now. So that kid looks good, man. I'm all in on that Mendoza kid. I know they still got like 5 games to go, but I mean, he looks like the real deal to me. So I don't want to miss out on him.
Frankie, great call. Appreciate the kind words, man. It's a testament to this community, right? I mean, the fact that we do have over 1,000 people watching the show talking about an 0-7 football team is amazing. Thank you. Thank you to everyone. Please subscribe, even if you go away for a while, which I don't blame some of you for doing that. If you're maybe not a diehard, even if you are a diehard, I get it. But more subscribers, the better. We're almost at 43,000. We're at 42,953, which, by the way, is probably more fans than were at MetLife yesterday, if we're being real. Especially by the third quarter. That place emptied out. Hey, shout out to Green Gang. He came to our tailgate yesterday. He just gifted 5 memberships.
What is this? Who is this guy? Bad freaking Bunny. What is that?
In the raffle for 5. Jets fan Anonymous says, can't see us winning a game. This offense is the worst in a while, which is sad because I've seen so many bad offenses. We all have if you've watched this team for more than a couple of years. This team is so bad. So bad offensively. It's unreal. Like, oh. I mean, the stats about the ineptitude of the Jets. They have not scored a first half touchdown since week 1. They have not scored a touchdown unless they've been trailing by at least 13 or more points since week 1. The Jets are the second team in the last 10 years to lose back-to-back games, allowing fewer than 14 points in both games. The Jets scored 1 touchdown in the first 3 quarters in their last 6 games. They've been outscored 123-39 in the first 3 quarters in those games. And yes, while the defense has played well the last 2 games, certainly better, their 2 turnovers, 0 takeaways forced, right? Like 1 turnover forced this season is the fewest by any team through 7 games all time. And Justin Fields is the only quarterback in the last 2 years to go back-to-back starts with less than 4 yards per attempt. Like, they don't just lose. They don't just lose normal. They can't just be bad. They got to be historically bad. And that's why there's no argument to retain this staff unless they show dramatic improvement the next 10 weeks. And they won't. I hope I'm wrong. They won't. This is not going to change. All right. You think New England regrets moving on after a year from Gerard Mayo? You think Denver regrets getting rid of Hackett in the middle of his first year? Or Urban Meyer in Jacksonville? Or Steve Wilkes with the Cardinals? Sometimes you know. Don't double down on a mistake. We all want Aaron Glenn to be the guy, but he's not the guy. And I haven't even played his presser because I might have a heart attack if I have to listen to him right now. But Aaron Glenn gave some answer about how they're going to decide this week on who the quarterback is going to be. You know, Glenn said that he wants to talk to other coaches that have been in this situation on how they would handle it. I'm sorry, man. You can call Bill Parcells. You could call Sean Payton. You could dig up Vince Lombardi's tombstone and ask him. It doesn't make you a good coach. Talk to whoever you want. Call Tony Dungy again. Hey, stop. Michael writes in, I don't recall being this numb and resigned during the Kotite years. I was just pissed all the time. I mean, this is just, wow. Why is Glenn calling other coaches? Shouldn't he be able to make a decision? He's the head coach of the Jets. Matt L. in the raffle for 1. Thank you, Matt. Big Joe. By the way, Big Joe has promised to call in to recap his experience on our second stream today, which will be live around 3-ish. For those who missed it, I'm doing radio tonight, so we're not going to be going as long as we normally would on Mondays in the afternoon. I'm in for Stephen A tonight from 6 to 8 Eastern. He's off today, so instead of the replay of his show from 6 to 8, I'm in for him in that time slot instead. More of your calls. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy was not at the game yesterday. But when I stopped by L5, I had multiple listeners coming up to me being like, is Neil here to hump the jersey?
Get ready for Neil. He will make 13 points about the New York Jets and maybe hump a Patriots jersey. Get ready for Neil. He's probably smoking a big fat cigar and burning his house to the ground. That's Neil.
Professor Malfi. You're like Malfi on The Sopranos, Jake. You know that's really what you are. It's a psychiatrist. Like Frasier.
All these shows are just post-game therapy sessions. Oh, it's like just not one win at this point. It's unbelievable. They've since I've started the show, this has never happened. My first year was Salah's first year, so I didn't get to do the Gase year every day. And this is only the third time, Neil, they've ever started 0-7. The other two times was Gase in 2020 and Kotite in 96.
Jake, for anybody to walk out, I mean, this really depicts how bad things are. When fans are leaving the stadium in the third quarter to rush out when the stadium's half empty, it's not like you have to rush out to beat the traffic, right? There's nobody there to begin with. For these guys to leave in the third quarter down one score shows you the ineptitude of the offense. I mean, how could that even be possible? Tell me.
I don't know, man. I mean, they once again, they look like they play a different sport when you watch them. They do.
You know, I just don't, there's really not, I mean, Joe B said it all, Jake. I mean, I was right there. I told you, man, when they took Rodgers and kicked him out that door, that day, my heart dropped, honestly. And I said, this team is the stupidest bunch of bastards, and we're going to get what we deserve. And we're going to be shit. I just knew it. But that's that water under the bridge. What are we going to say? What we can say? Can't say anything. It happened. We're hopeful. We're Jet fans. And this is where we're at. I think the next stage, here's the problem, Jake. We're punching bags. We're a punching bag fan base. And we accept the shit and keep going to the game, and these guys keep buying season tickets, and they keep doing all this stuff, when in reality, it comes time now where we have to get angry and just boycott it, Jake, don't you think? We just got to show Woody we're tired of this shit, and we want action and just not show up.
Well, I think a game like yesterday does that, because I'm never going to tell fans who have season tickets, hey, don't go. Like, if you want to go tailgate, have fun. But a lot of people are doing that. What I saw yesterday was a lifeless building where fans were leaving in the third quarter in a game that was pretty close. But if you're a younger fan trying to get into football and you watch around the league, you're watching Red Zone, you see all these points being scored. And the Jets in 2025 have gone 2 consecutive games without scoring a touchdown.
Jake, I know. This is worse than Zach numbers.
Yeah, I mean, it's at that.
I can't believe we're worse than that.
The last 2 games have been Zach Wilson-esque games where the defense plays well enough to win and the offense does absolutely nothing.
We're right back to that again. It's just, it's a horror. And I'm going to tell you, I'll say it once and I'll say it again. The absolute best acquisition we've ever made. The guy that I give the MVP, 2025 New York Jets, is our punter, Mr. McNamara. Did you see the booms? Was I right? When he kicks the ball, Jake, it looks like it's going out of the stadium. Am I right? You see it in person? Can you see his punts, Jake? Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, look, the best 2 parts of the team are Nick Folk, who's been great, and McNamara. I mean, and by the way, McNamara, this is like the third time the last like 5 years where we feel like our punter is our best player because Morstead had 2 great years with the Jets as well.
Well, Brandon Mann was a shitbag, okay?
Yeah.
This guy kicks bombs. But wow, is that something to be excited about? We kick the ball back to the other team. We have a competent punter. I mean, that's where it's come down to. I want to tell you, Jake, Michelle congratulated me yesterday. I have my grandkids over. I go in the basement. I have to watch the game by myself. You know, I'm a friggin' nitwit like you, okay? So I'm coming upstairs every during halftime. They got food waiting for me. You know, it's like me watching the Jets is like my family attending my wake. They feel so bad for me that they do all nice things. They give me nice food and snacks for me and whoever shows up. So I came up after the game and they all are like this, you know, what's that? Oh, it's Grandpa and Daddy going to be like. I wasn't even upset. I wasn't upset, Jake. How about you? I know you were, but I'm like getting numb.
I'm more upset for the people that showed up yesterday and they didn't get to see a win, but like, it's not going to take me that long to get over this loss. Like it would have been earlier in the year. At this point, like we're teetering on that line where if you guarantee me they get a new coach, a new GM, if they bottom out with the worst record in the league and they have the first pick, I'm almost rooting for that because I don't necessarily trust Woody to make the right choice if they win, 3 games and 2 of them happen over the last 3 weeks of the year to actually acknowledge his mistake and bring in a real coach for this first pick in the draft. I don't trust the owner. So if it means they got to go 0-17 to make it happen, like I'm teetering on actually rooting for that. Like it's disgusting.
No, it's not about rooting for it. It's going to happen. You know, it's not in our hands right now. And I don't see them with this ineptitude. Again, what did we talk about the other day? The best receivers on the team, I said it, are the tight ends. Stone Smart, the kid from the Colts. Why do you bring back Lazard? Why are you bringing in guys that are not going to be yak guys? Our receivers, they get hit. The new kid, what's his name, 82? He gets hit, he instantly goes down. You know, if you got a tight end, you get some yak. Maybe he gets that extra 3 or 4 yards and gets that first down. The other teams utilize their tight ends. We have 5 goddamn tight ends, and we never use them. That's all I got, from that perspective. That's my only 1 point. Okay, I don't want to hear I did 10 points. 1.
People don't like you eating on the air, Neil. You're getting a lot of heat in the chat.
No, all right, I'm done. I'm not eating anything. Actually, wait a minute. I get a salad down the street at the Gourmet Deli. Okay, they make a salad fresh, chop it up, the whole thing, whatever you want in it. Great. Every 10 salads you get a free salad. Okay, they're like $15. Guess what? Today was my free day for my salad. I had a free $15 salad. So my day started off well. And that's it. I'm not that upset, Jake. I'm disappointed. How about that? I am very, very disappointed with this team, disappointed on where we're going. And that's all I got. Let me go back to my lunch. Everybody have a wonderful day. And Dr. Melfi will talk you off the ledge continually, twice a day for the next week. And more people, Jake, you should start charging people now. Now you guys have to pay. Now that you're here, you have to do super chats. You have to subscribe, and you have to send money into Jake because he is your psychiatrist. Without him, you would be dead.
These goddamn exploding cigars. I gotta go, Jake. I'll call back later. Shit.
Thank you, Neil. People don't need to send me money, though. Just like the video and subscribe to the show for free. Goes a long way. Ladies and gentlemen, how about this? A 10 spot from Amanda Madison, who witnessed in person her first ever Jet game yesterday with the Asmaniacs and lived to tell the tale. A 10 spot, ladies and gentlemen, 10 people getting memberships. Hit it.
We are mama way.
Unbelievable. This was Amanda with Joe yesterday, by the way. She was very excited to beat Benigno, as one should be. Where's the photo? Do I not have it? I gotta pull it. It didn't load. But thank you to Amanda. If you got a membership from Amanda, make sure you thank her. The following 10 people got one: Tom D, David Dean, Rec King, Shining Wizards Kevin, Matthew Gordon, Larry Romano, Chris Adams, Australian Jets fan, Michael Bartlow, and Phil M. All receiving a channel membership. Tom D says thanks for the membership, Amanda. Tom getting 2 more raffle entries.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby.
All right, we got time for 3 more calls. Then we'll wrap and be back in a few hours. Ladies and gentlemen, Cannibal Eric is up next. If you're on hold, I'm getting to you, so stay right there. Cannibal Eric, what do you got? Unmute your mic, my friend. Eric, there you go. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the game was terrible yesterday, but I did have a great time at the tailgate. I ended up giving Big Cho a ride home and got to know him a little bit. And, Nate was hooking me up tequila sunrises between that and
Eric, do me a favor. Call right back. All right, I'm going to repost the link for you, but your internet was in and out. We couldn't hear that. All I heard was he gave Big Cho a ride home, and that immediately piqued my interest. I want to hear what that conversation in the car was like, because we all love Big Cho. Big Cho. More of your calls on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is another year, another tier. Hello, another year, another tier.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, man, what a rough game yesterday. But it just seems like all the changes that we should have made. There are so many changes that we knew, like problems that we had in the summertime, that we didn't make any changes, and now you see like all the problems. Like, for instance, we needed a wide receiver too. We don't have that. Is apparent. Like it's just, even years in the past. Remember Rodgers, when we had Rodgers and Zach Wilson, we always needed a backup, and we wait so long to get a backup that it's almost too late. Like, remember, so we signed Tyrod Taylor 2 years late. Like, when we needed a good backup when Rodgers went down. We never had that. We knew, all the fans knew that we needed that. And you know what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous. It's like we have so many. It's like the fans know better than the ownership, and we know the problems that the Jets need. We knew that Justin Fields wasn't that good of a quarterback, and we also knew that we needed more weapons. So it's just crazy. Like, the Mendoza kid, he's good. He looks good, but like, I'm not really too excited about him either. I don't know.
It's early. I mean, he looks good, but there's going to be a bunch of quarterbacks that go in the first round. And remember, a lot of us didn't want Jackson Dart. I know I didn't want him at pick 7. But if you were doing a redraft, you'd be a top 3 pick right now. So, like, no one really knows. A lot of it is situational, where they get drafted, the team they have around them, the coach they have around them. We got plenty of time to go into all that. But one thing is for sure, they're going to take a quarterback. And I do not trust this regime at all to make the right choice, or even if they make the right choice, surround that quarterback with enough talent or the infrastructure they need from a coaching standpoint to have success. The best example is Sam Darnold, who was a franchise quarterback, who was the right pick, and they failed him, and now we're seeing this years later.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, I agree. I don't know how we're going to develop them right. Like, I mean, we throw Mendoza into the fire with no weapons. What are we doing? Like, it's the same thing. Like, we need to get talent, and we need to get the players to believe again. Like, it looked like Sauce checked out yesterday.
No, Sauce had he didn't allow a catch yesterday. The one target he knocked away.
No, I know, but like, he looked frustrated on the sidelines. Like, that's what
he got concussed. I mean, that's why he missed some time. He got concussed.
It's just been a rough year for us, man. But
yeah. No, I get it. Look, so you see J.C. Horn make a bunch of plays, and it's like, Sauce needs to do that, but Sauce is pretty far down on the list of problems with this team right now. Like, he's had 2 really good games in a row. It's not a coincidence that the defense has allowed 13 total points. This is about offense, folks. You got to be able to score points in the NFL. The Jets haven't scored a touchdown in 2 weeks. The Jets haven't scored a touchdown in a non-garbage time scenario since the Miami game in week 4, when they had the long Fields touchdown run trailing 17-3 in the third quarter. They haven't scored a touchdown, though, unless they've been down at least 13 points or more since week 1. That was September 9th. Joke. Here's Amanda with Benigno, by the way. I was able to get the photo to load. Joe was great. Took pictures of everyone. If you're coming to the watch party Sunday, I'm glad Joe's still going to come out. We'll have a good time. We know the Jets aren't going to win, but we'll hang out, have fun. It'll be fun. Cannibal Eric, you want to talk about fun. This man apparently gave Big Cho a ride home yesterday. Hello, Eric.
Hey, Jake, is my internet a little better now?
So far, so good, Eric.
Yeah, so I gave Cho a ride home. He lives about his Airbnb is about 20 minutes from where I lived, so I figured I'd volunteer. He's a pretty good guy, man. I got to hear a lot about him, and when he was younger and all the girls and everything. He got picked up from the airport from his spring break girlfriend.
That's right. Big Cho's one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, I was behind him and Kyle Clifton at the game too, but yeah, the game was terrible. I called in like a few weeks ago saying if we're picking one or two, I want an offensive head coach and move off of Glenn. And everybody in the chat was calling me an idiot and saying you can't move off after 1 year. And now it seems like everybody's on board. So,
well, I mean, if it continues like this, I don't know how anyone couldn't be. And here's the thing I'll reference again. Last 4 quarterbacks taken number 1 overall have seen their head coach fired during their rookie campaign. I do not think you could justify allowing Glenn to pick and start to develop said quarterback. It is not worth the risk. Do not bet on outliers when history shows you a defensive-minded coach whose defense is not even any good should not be given the keys to oversee the development of a potential franchise quarterback. Give your franchise a chance to have success long-term by having a coach with an offensive background who could coach up that quarterback you're making that investment in.
yeah, I agree 100%, and that's why I think moving off of Rodgers was the right move too. If we had him this year, we might have won 4 games, and then we have this regime picking a quarterback, and then we have them for at least another year after that, because you got to get the rookie in shape. So, going 0-17 is probably the best thing that could happen for us at this point. We get the first pick, we get a new regime, and we can actually, hopefully start building with some confidence.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to make the right decision, Eric. We'll see. That's why, like, how bad does this get? If you win 3 games, does that survive this regime? I don't know, because like if 2 of those wins happen in December against the Saints and the Bills sitting their starters, don't tell me you made progress at the end of the year. You didn't. The wins need to happen right now if you're going to save your job.
I think if we win 3 games, Woody's going to keep him, but we shouldn't keep him if he wins 3 jobs because, 3 games, like you said, it's going to be against the Saints, who are just as bad as us and are trying to get a quarterback. It's going to be against the Bills, who are sitting their starters because we don't beat them as they are. And then it's 1 game that maybe some miracle happens. And, like the Titans game against Arizona or something like that. But we're not going to win games on merit. I've seen enough of the coaching staff to see that we're not going to win games because of coaching. We're losing games because of coaching. So
that is correct, Eric. Yeah, it's all fair. You have a good time otherwise besides the actual game yesterday?
Yeah, the tailgate was awesome. I got to meet a lot of people. Nick Shine, Nate. Nick was holding my bag for me while I went in. So I tried to call into his show yesterday, but he starts a little late. I work early. Nate was giving me some drinks. He helped me. He gave me a little pouch so I could smuggle one in. You were giving me Jello shots. That was the only way I made it through the game, to be honest. If I wasn't giving Cho a ride home, I would have left in the third quarter.
Yeah, it was brutal,
But
man. Brutal. I'm glad
the
you can make it,
Asmaniacs
man.
are great. The community is great. Everything's great. It just the team that we put on the field does not reflect the fans that the Jets have.
No, and that's what's so frustrating, Eric. Great call. Great to meet you yesterday. Hopefully I'll see you at another event we do, either next week's watch party or some of our stuff we'll do in the offseason. I'm going to plan another Knicks outing. We'll do another baseball outing this year. We did the Yankees this past year. It sucks, and there's no other way around it. Sears says, Jordan Travis, please unretire. I mean, it does suck that he had this career-ending injury, right? Because he'd get a chance to play this year. There's no doubt. Do I think he's their answer long-term? No, but at least you'd see something different. We know what Tyrod is. I'm not going to kill Tyrod for yesterday coming in off the bench cold with no weapons. He at least gives his team a chance to throw it downfield. Fields wouldn't even take shots. Cash Money Mike says, I have to agree with 13-point Neil. We should have played a 2 tight end scheme. Taylor has to start. Fields should move to slot receiver and be Debo for us. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Look, I do think Tyrod needs to start this week, though. For what it's worth, I think you have to give Tyrod a full week of prep. Let him be the guy. I don't think you could start Fields. Tyrod's going to get hurt eventually, and then you're going to go back to Fields until Brady Cook's ready, I'm sure. But I at least for the sake of the team this week, I think you need to start Tyrod Taylor if you're Aaron Glenn. As far as Neil's points, here were 7 of his 13 points, according to Boomtown. Point 1, Jake reminds Neil of the character Melfi from The Sopranos. I believe you mean Neil reminds Jake. When the Jets kicked Rodgers out, he knew that day we were going to be shit. The best acquisition the team made this year was our punter. Man was a shitbag. McNamara kicks bombs. Neil visits his own wake every halftime and is fed very well. The Jets have 5 tight ends and never use them. Started his day off with a free salad. Neil used 7 of his 13, quote, comments this show. Shout out to Boomtown. Jack writes in, sorry we're in hell. Could we still be friends? Jack, of course. The Jets are in hell or quarterback hell, but this community is elite. NY Jet humiliation is next. What's up, NY?
You know, something to keep in mind about that Miami touchdown you keep bringing up. That was a broken play.
Yeah, I said that earlier.
It was a broken play.
Yep.
Like, it's not even like it was a designed run. So, I mean, that's why you bring Fields in, because he can make those type of plays, but that wasn't a design play. And again, I've talked about this, you know, this is a culture problem. This is a culture problem that has existed with the Jets since nearly the beginning of the franchise, you know, and it goes right to Woody. And we have made enough mistakes on our own as a franchise, but the NFL compounds it, you know, with whether it's the bad calls or bringing back instant replay because they were so upset that in the Seattle game. We're not the only franchise that has put up with this. The Raiders have been dealing with the same anti-NFL bias for decades as well. But what was the difference? Al Davis wouldn't take it. Al Davis built an identity. Like, you want to treat us like rebels, you want to treat us like outcasts. That's exactly how we're going to manage ourselves. That's how we're going to present ourselves. And they were able to build an identity around it. That's why they have multiple championships, though they haven't sniffed one in a while, but they're a lot closer than we are. And we have one. I'm 53 years old. The last Super Bowl I wasn't even alive for. Like, this is a long-term cultural problem. And Woody is, according to Bloomberg, is worth $10.8 billion. And he just sits on his hands. He goes along to get along. Go get fined, Woody. Go make a stink, Woody. But he won't do it. Show us you care. Show us something. Show us anything. But nope, he collects his PSL money. He goes and tries to brag about the team in London. Let's face it, what got Salah fired last year? Losing in London. Because that's where it's all about image with Woody. It isn't necessarily about winning or losing. It's about money. It's all about money. And this team has no identity, never really has, and never will, until somebody stands up and actually, who is the face of the franchise?
Oh, it's Glenn. I mean, he's making all the decisions, man. It's Aaron Glenn. And he's not qualified to make all these decisions. He looks in over his head.
Well, you know what the biggest red flag for Glenn is for me? Whenever you see a coordinator become a head coach, you usually always see some type of prominent player dying to go along with them. Who came along with Aaron Glenn? Who's pining to play for Aaron Glenn? Bart Scott couldn't wait to come play for Rex. Rex was waiting out soon as the deadline was open for free agency signings. He was waiting outside the gate. Who did Aaron Glenn do that for? From Detroit, from the Detroit defense. Not that I don't even know who you'd really want off of there anyway, but who's pining to play for Aaron Glenn other than Aaron Rodgers at the time, and we kicked him out the door in 10 minutes? A Hall of Fame, a first ballot Hall of Famer. So we get what we get at this point because we continue as fans to put up with it. We continue, and like I think one of the other callers said, you just have to outright boycott this franchise. Stop showing up, stop buying their shitty gear, stop it all. Because until that happens, Woody is never gonna get the message.
Well, I'm telling you, though, more games like that yesterday and how the season's going, if it bottoms out where they're an 0-17 football team, 1 win, 2 wins, that's where the change can happen because I don't see this turning around.
0-17 is the only way I see it because if they get one win, they're going to rationalize, you see, we're not the worst team. At least we didn't go winless. It was his first year. This is not a bad team. This isn't a team devoid of talent. It isn't. There's no reason. Did I expect the playoffs? Absolutely not. But again, there is no rock bottom for this team. That's the reality. There is no rock bottom. They can keep digging and digging. If minus 10 passing yards wasn't rock bottom and you run this guy out here the next week, there's no rock bottom for this team. There's no humiliation big enough for this team for them to say, we got a cultural problem here. We got an overall cultural identity problem where we can't do anything right. We can't make one good decision. Even the free agents we bring in are total garbage. We brought in Smith from the Cowboys last year, who was the best offensive lineman for the last 10 years. And what did he do? He was just like the rest of them. We get nothing out of anybody we bring in here. Other than Wilson, I would just trade them all, fire sale them all, start again, and bring in an entire new regime. Who that regime would be, who is actually dumb enough to work for Woody Johnson at this point? Nobody who's going to turn this franchise around.
Well, I mean, there's guys who want to get back in, though, NY Jet. I mean, Mike McCarthy needs a job right now. John Gruden needs a job right now. Cliff Kingsbury wants to be a head coach again, and he has the first pick in the draft and can pick his quarterback. Like, I don't think this is as crazy of a turnaround as you're making it sound. I think the biggest problem is you keep hiring first-time coaches who are clueless and aren't ready for the job. They're learning on the job. That's the problem. Stop paying millions of dollars to people to learn on the job and get someone with experience. And money talks. It's all guaranteed money. It's generational money. The difference between a high-paid offensive or defensive coordinator and an NFL head coach is staggering. So
I agree.
Consider
but that's
that
where
too.
the culture. But that's the culture again.
Right, but the culture can be
then,
changed if you hire the right people. It's not rocket. The New England had a bad culture too until Mike Vrabel showed up. They wanted done Gerard Mayo. Oh, look how awful the Bears were. Their culture. Ben Johnson showed up and developed Caleb Williams into a competent quarterback. They're winning games now. You make it sound like it's impossible. No, coach, quarterback. You get that right, you have a chance.
I think it's impossible with this ownership as it is right now.
Are you aware of what the Knicks were under James Dolan? The same things are said. The same things.
What if the Knicks won? What if the Knicks won under James
the Knicks
Dolan?
won? The Knicks were a laughingstock and are now one of the best teams in the NBA. And have
what have they won, Jake? They haven't won.
They have not won a championship yet. They just came off the best year.
Jake, isn't it about winning championships?
It's about getting out of hell. NY Jet humiliation. It's about stuff being a joke, a fucking laughingstock. Get out. What have the Knicks won? What have the Jets won since 1968? What have the Knicks won? Are you kidding me? What have the Knicks won? The Jets haven't made the playoffs in 15 years. I've not had a winning season in a decade. The Knicks have improved the record for 5 consecutive years. They were in the abyss. They were the worst franchise in professional sports. And then Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau showed up. Same owner. What have the Knicks won? So the only thing we could judge it on is a championship. So if the Jets never win a championship, that's it. How about we have a winning season? How about we're not a laughing stock? We're not a joke on every sports talk show around the country. What have the Knicks won? Are you kidding me? You mean the Knicks, the betting favorites to get out of the Eastern Conference this year? You don't just win a championship overnight. When you've been as bad as the Knicks, it takes time to build it properly. That's the point, though. The Jets don't have a chance if they keep screwing up coach and quarterback. What have the Knicks won? I don't know. They won a playoff round each of the last 3 years in a row. They're coming off the farthest run they've had in 25 years. What are the Knicks won, though? Okay, so that we can only judge it on a championship. That's it? Really? Would you rather be the Steelers or the New York Jets? Would you rather have a chance every year? Or would you want to be the laughingstock that the Jets are every year? What if the Knicks won, please? Just dumb. Dumb. They just went to Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. What if the Knicks won? What if the Jets won? In 15 years. It's silly. I don't have patience anymore. I don't. We're now going to belittle the Knicks. Really? The only team in the city right now has any chance to do anything this year. Really? Jack writes in, I was able to send a super chat referencing the Knicks. You hit the nail on the head. Yeah, I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. I've given up on seeing the Jets win a Super Bowl. I really have. I don't want to be a laughingstock. I'd like to have a winning season. I'd like to have a chance where I could wake up one morning on a Saturday or a Sunday and the Jets are playing in the wild card round that day for the first time in 15 years. That's what I would like to see. We don't need to complicate these rebuilds and act like, oh, no one will want to work for Woody. Money talks. They have good players on this team. It's not bereft of talent. You hit on the quarterback, you could turn it around. The Commanders were in the NFC Championship game a year ago, coming off a season where they had the number 2 pick in the draft. The Patriots, 2 years after picking 3rd, are about to make the playoffs this year. The Texans, on their 3rd coach in 3 years, went to the divisional round of the playoffs in the first year of Stroud and D'Amico, and then last year followed that up and won a playoff game. Top 5 teams in the 2022 NFL Draft. Jacksonville won a playoff game. Detroit won multiple playoff games. Houston won multiple playoff games. The Jets, nothing. Pick 5 that year, the Giants won a playoff game with Daniel Jones and Brian Dable in 2022. And the Jets can't win more than 7 football games in a decade. Forget the playoff drought, which is now 15 years. What if the Knicks won? I'd rather be the Knicks where I have a chance, or the Yankees in this town, or go to the playoffs every year and have a chance. If your only goal is they got to win the Super Bowl or it's a failed year, what are we talking about? And it's the same owner. That was my point. That it comes down to hiring the right people. It's not like Woody. It does not give this franchise resources. They have a state-of-the-art, all-world practice facility. He spends money on the team. But when you keep hiring first-time coaches, you shouldn't be shocked that it keeps happening again and again and again and again. And I've been on this as long as anyone. See December of last year.
And I'll tell you right now, if you bring in a first-time coordinator, you can write it down. He'll be walking out the door again in 3 years.
Couldn't agree more. This job, no matter who they hire, is not a job for first-timers. You have to bring in someone that has already been successful in the league. I just stop hiring first-time head coaches from a defensive background. Stop. I don't care if Glenn played for the Jets 30 years ago. Glenn, the player, needs to be evaluated separately for what he is as a head coach. He was a great Jet. God bless him. It's not fun to talk about one-and-doneing a coach, but if this continues, how is that not on the table? Once again, you think New England's upset they got rid of Gerard Mayo? You think Denver's upset they got rid of Nate Hackett? You know what they did? They hired a real coach in Sean Payton. How's that working out? How's New England looking with Mike Vrabel? Ben Johnson with the Bears. Liam Cohen with the Jaguars. I understand they looked terrible yesterday, but the point is, these teams are all in better spots. Like the Atlanta Falcons, disappointing, I'm sure, for them to lose yesterday. But you know what? They're having a season. Like their fall is relevant. Right? Like the Atlanta Falcons right now, they're 3-3, but they have a season. They're in the mix in October. Our season ended in mid-September this year. The Panthers are 4-3. I don't think they're a great team. I didn't think Bryce Young was impressive at all yesterday, but they have a season. They're not doing mock draft talk in October like we are. They have a season. They get to enjoy football in the fall before the winter. We have nothing. All these other teams that have been bad up and down, they every once in a while have a fun year. We never get the fun year. We had it briefly in 2022 when they started 6-3, only to then go 7-4 and lose out 6 straight. Unbelievable. Jeremiah says, I don't know how late I am or what I missed, but just want to keep publicly saying I already want Glenn gone. Go for it on fourth and forgo a field goal in a one-score game, then punt with a minute 55 left. Get him out of here. I mean, the game management stuff is brutal. Brutal. Why are you predetermining you're going to be aggressive and it's because you liked your fourth down play calls? Have you seen what your offense looks like, Aaron? You need points. And then if you're going to be aggressive, see, this is my issue. In real time, I didn't hate going for it on the 4th and 5 in the game if that was going to be the mentality the rest of the way. But Glenn immediately contradicts himself because at the end of the first half, he goes into the locker room with a timeout in his pocket rather than have Fields throw a Hail Mary after he said a week ago that was his mistake at the end of the first half in the London game. Not at least just draining the clock and throwing the Hail Mary. And in that game, Denver got the ball to start the second half. In this game, that was not – excuse me, I got it backwards. In that game, you were getting the ball to start the second half. In this game, you can't use that excuse because Carolina was getting the ball to start the second half. The clock management is horrific. Wake up, Woody. He can't coach. He has no idea what he's doing. He's another defensive guy who has absolutely no feel for the modern offense in today's NFL. He says he wants a quarterback who wins. He signs Justin Fields for $30 million guaranteed.
What do you look for in a quarterback? Like, what's an Aaron Glenn quarterback?
A winner.
He said, we're here to win now.
We're here to win now, and we're looking forward to it. So any questions?
And now let's move the goalpost and sound like Robert Saleh. BS.
Could always beat the narrative of same old Jets, but it's not.
But I know this, they're not the same old Jets.
Everyone wants things now. It's the instant coffee age. But at the same time, we're grinding.
Here's what I do know. I know this is an instant coffee league. I know from the media to the fans, everybody expects this, when you just start, okay, we're going to the Super Bowl. But we've all played Legos before. We'll watch the tape. Watch the tape.
Also, can I say one thing about Jet Humiliation, who set me off with his Nick comment? I did love the lava lamps he had. I was going to ask him about that. I feel bad. Call back, Jet Humiliation. I'm sorry I flipped. The Jets are just killing me. Although I think your point is asinine. I shouldn't have flipped out on you. You had great audio, which we appreciate because most callers' audio is dog shit. So thank you for that. All right, I'm counting the raffle names. Let's do one more call here, and then we're going to wrap it up. Jack Straw, you're next. What's up, Jack?
What's up, Jake? Yeah, it's been a tough grind here to even try to sit through these Sundays anymore. One thing that I was always a little bit suspicious of why Jets fans were so excited about the Aaron Glenn hire. I watched that Commanders playoff game. They gave up 45 points. I just never understood how you rush to sign a guy who gave up 45 to a rookie quarterback to a team that nobody had in the playoffs a few months prior to that. From the opening press conference, I felt like Aaron Glenn was in over his head. To the actual game day management, it's unlike anything I've ever seen before, even on a Jets sideline. We've gone through the ringer with some bad head coaches, from Saleh to Gaze to even Herm on game day was often pretty brutal to watch. A walking contradiction. I think you hit the nail on the head. I guess my question for you is, I think a change is inevitable. I know that people over at Badlands are saying there's an 80% chance that Glenn is back. I find that to be impossible. If they win,
Connor said 30% chance that he could be gone now, and and both those guys, Joe and Connor, were very big Glenn guys, and even they're having to acknowledge it's on the table. I mean, I think at 0-17, it's an automatic, Jack. They move on, but it keeps looking like this. Even 2-3 wins, I don't think it's a lock. I mean, Gerard Mayo was one and done. Why can't Aaron Glenn be one and done?
Yeah, I mean, Gerard Mayo was one and done. To Robert Kraft is a much different owner than Woody Johnson. I think Woody is obviously influenced by the media, whether he would admit that or not. I think the fans are going to give them no choice in the matter. When there's 10,000 people showing up week 10, 11, 12, you're going to have to make a decision. You can't have an empty stadium in New York. But
I don't know anyone renewing their tickets, by the way, Jack. A lot of people stopped after this past year with Rodgers and everything, and they increased prices. I think it's going to be even worse this year. And that speaks volumes, because I think if enough people don't renew, it's eye-opening for ownership to have to really evaluate this.
Yeah, I think knowing the Jets, they're going to win a couple just to probably lose out on the number one pick. I think that's not really going to be a problem anyway, because I don't know that there's going to be a consensus number one quarterback. I think it's going to come down to Fernando Mendoza or Ty Simpson. I love Mendoza. I would probably lean towards Simpson, but there's no way that you can let Aaron Glenn go in and have control of that quarterback following this season. I guess the question is that, you mentioned Mike McCarthy. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, he's interviewed twice with the Jets in different cycles. And he's
only once. They didn't request him this past cycle.
And it wasn't twice before that. They interviewed him when they hired Saleh, but not the one before that.
No, they interviewed McCarthy when they hired Adam Gase. That was the only time.
Okay. All right. Anyway, I don't know that he would come here. I'm almost wondering, like, he's not my first choice, but like a John Gruden. I think you can't hire someone who you're going to pair with a general manager, a new general manager. And Muji should go too. I mean, the roster management has been atrocious. If I see Michael Clemens playing the edge again, I can't believe in an NFL defense, Michael Clemens is ever, I don't care what injuries are happening, is ever the answer to play edge and outside contain.
I think the receiver situation's even worse because it's just like we all knew they were short there and a Garrett Wilson injury away from being from putting out a receiver corps. Like they don't have professional athletes out there. Like they really don't. Watching it in person yesterday was eye-opening.
It's malpractice. But John Gruden, with the lawsuit against the NFL, I feel like that's winding down. I mean, they're in the middle of it. It should be winding down in the next year or so, I would imagine. But is that even a realistic possibility? He wants to get back in the league. Mm-hmm. He's desperate for a job. I don't think there's anyone else who would go against the NFL and hire him for a head spot. But he would at least check the box of the minute he comes into a building, you know who the alpha is. He's going to maintain control over the roster, meaning draft day, he's making the draft picks. He's picking the final 53. He's calling the game on game day. Who to blame if things go wrong. But to me, it seems like you need to have that alpha in the room who is not going to be a yes man to Woody and actually be able to have full control and do a complete culture shift. I think that's the only way you fix it. I don't think you can mix and match this GM. I mean, look at what happened to Todd Bowles. We all owe Todd Bowles a little bit of an apology. He was not great here, but when you look at what McCagnon did in the 4 or 5 drafts that he had,
totally fair. Yeah, horrible.
Never had a shot. And now he's showing you kind of I don't think he's a top 10 coach, but he's somewhere between top 10 and top 20, which
he's good enough with a real good quarterback, which is the problem because the Jets never have either. And that's why they remain as bad as they've been. You don't have a good coach and your quarterback situation can't elevate things. Even Aaron Rodgers couldn't save this bleep show last year.
Yeah. October 20th, quarterback, Ty Simpson, Fernando Mendoza, or someone else. Who do you got?
Ooh. I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, I would just be guessing. I've watched one game of Mendoza, or one full game. It was on Saturday. I saw a lot of that Indiana-Michigan State game. We'll start to dive into it during the bye week. I mean, it's sad. Ty Simpson, I've seen a little of. I don't know. It's a crapshoot, man. I thought I thought Sam Darnold was the answer, and then I was like, nah, maybe he's not. Maybe they got to move on. And it's just it's so much about the situation they get picked into, and I don't know. I mean, it could be anyone. You could tell me it's Lenora Sellers. He's the next Josh Allen, right? Josh Allen I thought was terrible his first couple of years, and he became this huge outlier where he developed into maybe the best player in the league at his position. So I don't know, man. It's tough. I mean, I like Mendoza. I think his name is pretty cool. I like his accuracy. He's got the prototypical size that you look for in a quarterback. I think he's a better athlete than he gets given credit for, but I don't know, man. What do I know? Whoever they pick will be the wrong selection if this is the head coach and GM that are making it. That's how I feel.
The icing on the cake is just watching all the former Jets thriving across the league.
Right.
The only one except for Zach Wilson. I mean, it's Gino, it's Sam, it's Rodgers, it's Flacco. Joe Flacco.
Yeah,
it's Bowles. It's the whole gamut, man. I think
you see JFM make big plays to help seal that win for Denver yesterday, and then Bryce Huff is making big pass rush plays on Sunday Night Football last night. It never ends.
It never ends. Well, my gut tells me it won't end until Woody meets his maker or sells. But this is ultimately what happens. When a trust fund baby, who's never worked a day in his life, gets control of an NFL team. He runs it like someone who's never employed people. And it's just constantly throwing shit into the fan and hoping something sticks. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they can bring someone in, whether it's a Gruden or a Mike McCarthy, but they need to have an adult in the room because right now Aaron Glenn is just he's embarrassing himself. I feel bad for him because it's so clear he's in over his head. And hopefully this will all be over by January. So,
I hope, Jack. Great call. Appreciate you making it, man. Call back anytime. I don't know if it's a lock. It's over. That's the problem. Now, obviously, best case scenario, 10 games to go. They win a bunch of these games. They look a lot better. But come on, really? But that's the problem. Is this owner going to admit a mistake? That's why, if you guaranteed me 0-17 and he's gone, you almost have to root for that, as scary as that is to say out loud. Because I don't know if 2 wins definitely means they clean house. I don't. It's scary. It should. 3 wins should, honestly. When it looks this bad. They haven't scored a touchdown in the first half of a game since week 1. They have not scored a touchdown unless they've been trailing by at least 13 or more points since week 1. The last non-garbage time touchdown they scored was week 4 when they were down 17-3 when Fields on a broken play scrambled for a touchdown to make it 17-10. But don't worry, Glenn got his quarterback, right?
What do you look for in a quarterback? What's an Aaron Glenn quarterback?
A winner. That winner's now on the bench, where he should have been last week at halftime, and maybe you'd have a win right now. It's tough, man. It's tough to stomach this. As fan base, you all deserve more. Hot boy in the raffle for 5 says, if I win a jersey, I'll be less mad about this team. Well, I hope you do win the jersey then. Thank you for supporting the channel. It goes a long way. Appreciate you. It's just, it never ends. I'm putting together the raffle names right now. I'm going to be back this afternoon for what will be a bit of a shorter show because I'm filling in for Stephen A. Smith on radio tonight. So I have to prep for that. But I appreciate everyone who continues to watch, man. We all care about this team immensely. Ladies and gentlemen, time to spin the wheel of champions, though. Someone's going to win a Jets jersey of their choosing.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
You hear the music, now you see the wheel. Hey, good luck to everyone. Again, thank you to everyone who still tunes in. Post-game show, I started it about 2 hours or so after the game. Went final yesterday because I went to that terrible game at MetLife, and we have over 17,000 YouTube views alone and probably another 3,000 on podcasts. So 20,000 people tuned in at least yesterday, and thank you for that. All right, good luck to everyone. But only one can win. If you win, email me, asmanjake@gmail.com, the name of yourself, your address, the player whose jersey you want, the size, and the color. Good luck. The winner is Abu Dhabi Jet fan, baby. Yeah. I got to figure out how to send something to the Middle East. Hey, now, Abu Dhabi, this is for you.
I'm gonna do my silly dance, cause we're built like shit. What kind of a question is that? We have the moral victories. My team has no wins.
All right, great show. Not really great topics, but thank you to everyone who called in, super chats. You guys are the best. Really appreciate it. We're back in the 3 p.m. hour, so be on the lookout for that. We will hear from Aaron Glenn, talk more about the state of this team, and who knows. But if you want to join us to commiserate in person on Sunday, we got our watch party for the Jets and the Bengals. Free to attend. You get a free beer if you show up wearing Jets, or if you don't want to wear Jets gear, if you wear Jake Asman or Asmaniac beer, we'll get you a beer as well. So looking forward to that. Thanks again, everyone. I'm sorry that this team is brutal. I really am. I'll talk to you guys soon. As always, go Jets. And maybe one day, better days will be ahead.
J-E-T-S. Jess. All right, let's go.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go Jets.